Okay, cool. So forgive me if tonight is particularly sort of mechanical and plotty in terms of like getting the characters ready and figuring out some of the interface and all that sort of stuff. But I think we've all played enough that it'll start to smooth out, in a session or two type of thing. I'll learn more of the ins and outs of what I need to do on the GM's side of the table. Has any of the four of you, have you given thought towards characters? Knowing that there isn't, okay, Wayne's got some scratches. That's good.
Nice.
There isn't a new class or what's it called? Archetype? What's it called in this game?
Archetype.
I forget. Profession?
It is. Oh,
Yeah,
it's profession.
so.
okay.
There's a new one that comes in the Bitter Reach, and I don't think it's tied to just to being Cole. I think it's the champion, right? So that's on the table too. I will say this. I think I want this to be kind of a mature party. So I'm setting it in 1165, which is the base from the book, which is 5 years after the Blood Mist goes away. So it's a wild and woolly land still, and it still needs to be explored and all that good stuff. But the conceit that I'm thinking of is the four of you are already together. Some shit's happened, and you're either on the run or you're pursuing someone. We'll work it out. I don't have that in mind yet, but we'll figure that piece out. But just put it this way: you're not meeting for the first time. This is not, there's not like you're a chance crossroads where you all come together. The four of you will have been doing this Ravenlands thing for a while, and we're going to kind of ignore the fact that there's a bunch of the territory behind you that you've already explored. I may even open the map up a little bit just to show that you've been some places. But like I said before, you're going to have some direction. You're going to be incented to go north or east or something like that, right? So, well, let's start with Wayne. Well, Wayne, what are your initial ideas around a character?
Okay, so I've got four really, but one isn't much. One, I had an idea for a goblin hunter, and I have a name, but that's, and I was going to play him as be a little, let's face it, I'm not going to ever be as over the top as as some blood sorcerers who will not be named. But being, a little edgy, a little, as far as being a little vicious, maybe. I don't know, but that,
a goblin.
And yeah, and then I was thinking about playing an elf who was fascinated. It was like a sage or something like that, and became fascinated with this death thing that happens to other people. And so it was a necromancer, but not because he wanted to become a lich, but because he just thinks this death is fascinating. I thought that anyway. So cool. The problem with what now?
That's cool, and it fits the lore. Let me ask this actually: how much do the rest of you know about the lore at this stage? Like the lore that's in the GM's guide and all that sort of stuff. A little.
A little. I read because when I was playing when I was making up the goblin, and it talked about the halflings, but it didn't explain what the hell was going on. And so I picked up the GM's book and I just read the goblin thing.
Yeah.
And I read the elf thing because if I was going to play an elf, they're so long lived. I thought that was good, but that's the first time.
There's some really neat subtleties, and the piece that I want to run past you guys and ask you if it's okay. I plan on being a little freer with the lore than Sean has been, and I want to know if you're okay with that.
Yeah, it's fine.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. So, for example,
my last one, real quick. I'm sorry.
No, keep going.
My last one was a Wolfkin druid.
Okay, but I like all those ideas.
Anyway, but I'm not wedded to anything too much or whatever. I'll,
okay.
Don't want to step on anybody's.
What I was going to say, Wayne, is there are some pieces in the lore where the older elder elves, some of them take interest in humans and death and sex and all sorts of stuff, which is partly why some of the other races kind of evolve. There's all kinds of really neat stuff around that. So there's good precedent. I saw that. Yeah, for someone to be like fascinated by the mortal world type of thing. The part that I didn't know is that not all the elves are the same. that a lot of them are actually half breeds, right? The Frailings and all those kind of guys. So anyway, we'll get into that if it becomes important. Sean, you look like you're busy, so I'm going to skip you for a minute. We'll go to Kevin for ideas.
Ooh. My idea was really, I'm not playing the healer.
Okay.
That was about as far as I got. I was kind of debating and this is how my head works for Forbidden Lands. I was thinking about either like a fighter shieldy type of guy who specializes in crafting or like has a lot of crafting skill, or a hunter lead the way type. And I hadn't really picked kin because I didn't know if we would pick, I don't know, the savage or kin to head north, or if we would go with more the elf or human or whatever. So that's kind of all I've really thought about, other than hitting generate on a character generator and reading the cool stories that kind of popped up on that.
Gotcha. So kin wise, I think it's wide open as long as you guys can justify why you'd be together. I'm totally cool if you want to do 4 wolfkin or 4 halflings or whatever, but a mix should be no problem at all. And I think it'll be no surprise to any of you that I do not care if you have the right skill mix or whatever in the party, right? You'll learn that you need to pick up certain skills, or you need to get some NPCs or some hirelings to help out in certain areas. So don't worry about having like a balanced party where you have a tank and a hunter and a healer and all that sort of stuff. You've played this game long enough to know that you'll want some of that, but hey. All right. So give it some continue. I like that idea though, Kevin. I like the idea of the kind of the crafting combined with the protector nature.
Right.
What are you thinking, Phil?
So first off, we're not keeping our dark secrets hidden from the group. We're just using that as like a, okay.
Well, let me say this.
Yeah.
In game, maybe, absolutely
sure.
Maybe, but
yes.
For the players, no, it's going to be on the table.
So for us, okay. So I had just 2 very loose ideas. One was playing an elf who was most likely going to be a hunter, but that could be tweaked pretty easily. And they had a mission to go north. So they were purposefully looking for a means to go there because there was one of the elf gems had been lost and they were seeking to retrieve it. And the dark secret would be that it was because of they had messed up in some capacity. I hadn't really thought about it too much. They had messed up in some capacity. And the reason why it was lost is because they had lost it. They had screwed up and it had been taken by them. And so that's why they were heading north to seek the gem that they had lost. And their dark secret was that they hid that from their kin. So the elves didn't know, but obviously he's carrying the guilt of that.
Got it. So kind of responsible for some dark force absconding with the gem.
Yes.
And going to the Northlands. Okay.
To get it back.
Got it. All right. So if you run with that, we could certainly riff off of that when we talk about the party's motivation to go north and all that stuff. Like it. Like it a lot.
Yeah. The other one was it was going to be a human. I hadn't figured out what culture yet, but they and the reason why I was thinking this particular aspect too is I thought that the blood mist had just gone away. So I don't know if it'll work if it's been 5 years. I feel like it's less. If it fits a little bit less, but it was going to be somebody who had been raised by the Rust brothers. So the Rust brothers had come into his village and slaughtered everyone. And he was a young boy when he was brought in and indoctrinated into their group and found no way to get out. I mean, just suffered through it all. And then was about to have to go through, I guess, the blood mist ritual to see if he would become a Rust brother when the mists drop. And then he's found a means basically then at that point to flee and escape the Rust brothers. And I guess the reason why he's heading north now is that he's heard there's a bounty on his head from the Rust brothers because of his betrayal within the group. So those were the 2 ideas I had. Saying that, if someone does play a goblin, I would love to be like a halfling counterpart to that. Not because I've read the lore, so not the twin or the unknown twin or anything like that, but just the awkwardness of being a halfling with a goblin, I think could be a lot of fun. But anyway, those are my ideas. Okay.
But I like all of them. And I will say this, I have other than saying I want some sort of drive to get to the, and I'll just put it out there. You need to get to a coast and a port, right? So you can get a ship. You're going to take the ship to the Bitter Reach, which is what Sean was talking about. The Bitter Reach says you arrive in, I think it's called Northfall or Northport or something like that. It's basically classic West Marches hex crawl. You're in the city and the entire map is dark. You've arrived by ocean, so you know nothing. It's cool. So we're going to play the front end of that too. So Phil, if you want to go with a second idea, which is the kid who escaped the ritual with the Rust brothers, I can easily say that the blood mist has only been gone for 6 months or a year or 3 weeks for all I care. I don't care. So I can tweak the calendar. The calendar is not driving anything that I'm trying to do in the game.
Okay.
So give it some thought. Sean, can you take a minute and what?
Yeah, I have not given it much thought. That's not fair. I've given it thought, but not to the extent that these guys have. It sounds like I figured with the Bitter Reach, depending on how you position the campaign, I was thinking of either some type of, it could be a human scout that I was probably thinking of, not any demi-kin, as a potential expedition guy, like scout or...
Love it. So
yeah.
you might be from there, but be in Ravenland, right? Is that what you're getting at?
Yeah, I could be based out of the village there.
No, I'm saying because the game starts in the Ravenland, right?
Right.
What I'm saying is you might be from the Bitter Reach. You might be a native who happens to be, you're traveling abroad.
Sure.
And for some reason, the group wants to get back up there, and maybe they've even hired you, or you just know them and they know. It'll depend on why we're going to the Bitter Reach, but I like the idea.
Yeah.
You're also saying you also might be a general guide, right? Survival guy.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Like it could be that, or like going to the general guide type, it would be just another place to explore and get a quote unquote crew together to.
So if we were to go the route of the blood mist has been gone for a while, you could play up it's the frontier you want to go to.
Yes.
Yeah, I got you. It's the undiscovered country.
Yeah. So what's his name? Going to Antarctica.
Oh, yeah. Franklin?
Bird?
No, Franklin's up north.
I'll forget his name.
I forget. There's a bunch of those guys who made foolish decisions in the North Pole and South Pole and died.
Admiral Byrd?
Yes, Bird, I believe it was.
There you go.
So, Phil, I mean, your guy on the run, you could have been successfully on the run for many years with this crew but then someone discovered you were still alive or something like that, so you could still keep that 5-year window and still have a reason to like suddenly go, I got to get out of here. But
or you're getting hedged into the northeast corner and it's like, well, I got to go farther up north.
Yeah.
So the other thing, what your idea about the elf was, I mean, the Venn diagram of your idea about the elf and the elf necromancer was overlapped a bit, because I was thinking the thing that got me kicked out of I can't remember the name of the elf city, I have to go look it up again, was that I started these experimentations in necromancy and everybody thought that was fine as long as I was playing around with, lesser races. And I was thinking that somehow I had found an elf body where the ruby had been removed.
All right, it's working. Oh, sorry, guys. Keep talking.
I
I'm checking OBS
okay.
and I'm like, fuck, I forgot that this isn't muted to Zoom. My bad. I apologize, Wayne.
That's all right.
Damn.
Anyway, so my thought was I found this elf body without the ruby, and I thought, this ought to be interesting. And I was playing around with that, and the elves were not happy with me. That was like a bridge too far, and so I had to leave to do my studies elsewhere. But I don't know if And it might be related to your story. I don't know.
Sure.
Let me ask you this, because I think a couple of you guys might know the lore better than I do. One of the things I didn't get done this week that I wanted to was in detail read every bit about the history and every race and all that sort of stuff. I've skimmed all of it, and I know some of it already. What's the story though with the elves and the gems at their hearts? Are those, because I don't know the story of like the 5 gems, like that whole Raven's Purge story. Do you guys know that story?
Not that, no, but all I remember about the gems is that it's tied to, like, their souls basically, I think, are tied to these gems.
Yeah.
And so if the body dies, but the gem is recovered, and I don't know if the books explain how, but you can basically grow another body and put the gem in it, I think. And then essentially the soul continues in this new body.
Got it.
If the elves, I think if the elf kind of gets tired of living in that capacity, you can kind of put it in a tree and you become a treant. But I'm not sure. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Right.
No, that's right. Yep, that's right.
And some elves choose to basically have their gems placed into like a temple, and then they just exist in a completely spiritual state, talking to one another.
Those are the still elves?
I'm not sure. I think the still elves are just the ones who well, they can be that. I think they're the ones that just want to experience creation. They're the ones that are kind of just, hanging out under trees for a decade or whatever.
Right. Okay.
So, but then there's other factions of elves that are, their immortality or whatever is obviously a gift, and they must make a mark on the world, and they're very militant. And they're kind of like the elf secret police.
Elf
The elf Stasi.
Right?
Yeah. So yeah, there's a bunch of different factions of them.
Okay.
And then some elves will have their rubies broken into smaller pieces, which creates more true elves versus
but they have to but they sacrifice themselves.
They have to sacrifice themselves.
Okay.
And but they're all kind of super flighty, meaning that even though you might have an elf that's 200 years old, once they change their focus of what they're trying to experience, they lose a lot of their memories are inaccessible for, they might remember a favorite song, but not,
Interesting.
not their best friend from 50 years ago. So,
right. So, Phil, when you were talking about the elf character you're thinking of who lost the gem, is that the gem you're talking about for like some ancient elf, or what were you thinking of?
I hadn't even got that far, Harrigan.
Okay.
It was just all kind of surface stuff.
Okay. So it could be though, like an elder, highly respected and revered elf gem that was, that you were supposed to look after and bungled or whatever.
For sure. Yeah.
Okay. Let me throw a couple of things on the table, and then we'll start trying to make some decisions.
Sorry, Harrigan, I could even say this then. So thinking about what Wayne was saying about the still elves and being in temples, can not some of those gems too be, well, I think that's maybe what's in the crown, but could you not conceivably put gemstones in other artifacts? Like maybe this stone is in a sword, or maybe it's in some kind of rod or wand or some kind of maybe highly prized item as well. So it's not just like a stone, it's something else. That's something for you to think about, right? Or consider too, Harrigan, however you want to work it in. Maybe
absolutely.
That's if I go this way.
Yeah. Correct. If you go that way, but that leads. So I did jot down a couple of things to give you guys some sort of seeds to grow. And one of them is the group carrying an artifact, meaning is someone hunting you for that artifact. But what you're talking about is you had an artifact and lost one, or someone took the gem to make an artifact. There's all sorts of ways we can go with that, right? Like that. I also potentially like, especially if we're a little further into the after the blood mist kind of thing, wars might be brewing, which could be why you guys are also on the move. The orcs are moving against the dwarves, or vice versa, that sort of thing. So there could be like just general chaos and mayhem where you guys are like, let's get the fuck out of here. It's it's too dangerous type of thing, right? That might be part of it too. Beyond that, I think what we talked about so far will work. Who wants to make the first decision, and we'll build the rest of the group around them. Maybe somebody who had fewer ideas, Sean or Kevin, maybe. I don't know.
We're for starting specifically
With a PC idea, with like, button down your kin and your profession.
So
and
I think
anything else you want to know, just ask.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go human.
Okay.
I haven't decided on ethnicity, Adeline, Askelon or Aldlander. So I'm pretty flexible. Like I don't want to like, this is where I'm from, and then it's kind of a pain in the ass to bring him from out of there. I know he could just wander around anywhere he wants to, but it'll be obviously a male character since I'm talking like that. And then I think it would be.
Well, let me stop you there. Point here is you will absolutely be very far from wherever you're from.
Okay.
You'll have been wandering the Ravenlands. Maybe it's for 3 months or 6 months, or maybe it's for 5 years. But
Sure.
You're basically far from home and have decided we got to get out of here, right?
So I think for me, however I've been adventuring through the Ravenlands, I could foresee coming across something that says you got to go to this crazy, stupid winter place that's like an ice cap because there's like the mother lode's there, like this artifact or power or gold, riches beyond belief, where maybe the Forbidden Lands for me has been a bust, or the Ravenlands has been a bust. So maybe I've come across something, or some reputable guy I came across, or woman, no matter the kin, and it could be a party member that has conveyed that information, or they have been there and they come back with a trough load of stuff. And when we find out where it's from there. So whatever, that kind of hook, I guess, for me. And how I would meet any of the party members would be just, hey, I'm heading this direction. And then I would just bestow the same info, or I would either hold some of it back and just go, yeah, I'm looking for passage up there, or I could be from there. And then one of the party member or somebody else wants to go back there and convinces me to go back there because money or gold or fame or riches or something along those lines. And I thought maybe it's easy because I've been from there. So there you go. Would you like any more ideas, sir?
So you're all over the map. I said you had fewer ideas, so we start with you. So let's not start with you.
Fair.
One thing that may help us actually is to build the idea as to why you're having to leave or why you want to leave, right? And the subtlety there is there's a difference. One would be, and the classic example I'm thinking of, Phil, relates to one of your character ideas, which is the Rust brothers are a royal fucking pain. Like they're in the area you're in, they're kind of taken over. They're militant. They're smashing villages and all the rest. So you guys are like, fuck this. Let's just get the hell out of here. And some of you may have direct connections to the Rust brothers, but you also might go let's go find riches route, or let's go find the artifact route. So let's maybe, you guys help me. If somebody has an idea that's crystallizing, put your hand in the air.
I have a little bit of an idea.
Kevin, you're going first.
And I don't know if how relevant this is exactly, but it was more of, I kind of want to play an orc again.
Okay.
But not the same type of character. The reason being, I think I want to do an orc fighter, and he's going to specialize in like shielding people, kind of like I said. But I think for some reason somebody saved him, and he's kind of like pledged his life to protecting that other person. And that's why he's leaving all the clan and their ideals behind. And it's just easier and that person obviously has a reason to go north, but this character's not fighting that because that's getting him away from the clan who wants him to go fight a war.
So you forgive me, but you'd have a simple story, which is basically you're going for companionship. You're with your peeps. They've made some decision that we're going to go north. And you're like, I guess that's where we're going. Right. Okay.
Yep. That was my idea.
I can dig that. So who would have saved this orc and then, has attracted him as a companion, a stalwart companion? Bueller.
Yeah, I guess that's the thing. I don't know which one of the two ideas or even third idea I want to take yet. I'm still kind of waiting to see what everyone else does. It's nice though. So Kevin's going to be the orc fighter. I mean, that's okay. So now we know who our muscle is. At least we have that.
We do.
Yeah.
So Phil, can I ask you some questions?
Go ahead.
All right. So you've got the elf who is I can't remember what you were pointing.
I was leaning towards hunter.
Okay. So if you play the elf hunter, I'm just trying to think this out. Then of my ideas, that would make the most sense for me to play the other elf necromancer or go druid. But do you have any thoughts about that? I don't want your character. I'm sorry. Trying to figure out how to make this all fit together best. So
yeah.
Are you leaning either way on your characters?
No, I'm pretty flexible. I think in my head, maybe I was starting to lean with the Rust Brothers idea. I think maybe because some of the ideas that Harrigan has been expressing about getting the hell out of there, maybe the Rust Brothers are kind of pushing into this area. I think maybe that was starting to crystallize in my head. And I don't know, for some reason I was thinking, especially if Kevin's going to be a fighter, like a rogue. But again, I'm nothing solid in my head. Nothing solid in my head. I'll tell you this, I don't want to be the magic user. I every time I read it, I'm just like, holy geez. Like just seems to be so much to do in that area. Like I don't know.
Great.
I'm just like, oh.
That's so awesome though.
It is.
But I get it. Some people
So-
just don't like magic users, so I totally get it.
Well, I love magic in D&D, like wizards, sorcerers, clerics, love that stuff. But I think it's because it's so easy. Here,
Dude,
it's like there's a lot of nuance to it, and I don't know how much I want to just like really wrap my head
Just gotta
around it.
lean in.
Well, yeah.
Yep.
So here's my one problem I have with playing either the druid or the other necromancer, and it's based on the system, and I may be just totally wrong. Okay, which is I feel like there's a lot of implicit pressure to play like the druid who's the healer, which I don't mind.
None.
Wait a minute. I don't mind, except it's the way that the first level characters are built, unless we change it, is that I could only pick one magical talent. It wouldn't be so bad if I could pick I could have two, if I could pick one talent to be magical and the other one to be another magical talent. But
Can't you do that?
I don't think so legally.
Isn't there don't you pick a second talent? I'm forgetting the specific process. Like the way that Kevin, when you made Golgara.
Yep.
What's the healing you used? What's the magic you used? Was it healing?
Yeah, the Path of Healing, and then I subbed one of my other talents for Path of Healing 2.
That's what I'm getting at.
Rank in it.
That's what I'm getting at.
I think.
But you're suggesting, Wayne, there's no way to sub one of the other talents for a second magical school.
I didn't think there was, but maybe I may be just
okay.
Incorrect.
Well, so let me say one thing. I hear what you're saying, which is basically the system implicitly, so not the GM, nothing else, kind of is telling you it's a harsh world. Get some fucking healing, right? You better look out. Even though I'm telling you don't worry about balance and don't worry about having all the bases covered. You're like, I've lived this. I know what the mechanics are telling me. I know what the tables are like.
I've crossed a fucking river in this game.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. There are ways around it, though. I mean, the healing really. Let's think about it for a minute. Some of the healing lets you recover points of ability points that are lost, right? And some of the healing lets you get rid of a critical injury faster. And some of the healing. What else does the healing do?
It's rid of poisons and stuff, I think, too.
Poisons, diseases.
So virtually all those things, you and I could come up with equipment ways to handle that if you wanted to. Poultices, potions,
Okay.
So if you wanted to explore different magic, I would let you use your silver to buy some things that would do equivalent things. Maybe you can't replenish them very easily. In fact, you won't be able to, you'll have to use herbalist and craft and all that sort of stuff, right? But there's things we can do in that regard. So you don't feel hemmed in to running the healing magic.
Okay, so the two characters that I'm most interested in would be the goblin, and the elf necromancer. The elf necromancer is the one I think is kind of the most interesting, but also possibly the least helpful in the game. But yeah, so but if you're willing to give me, I could try to sink points into the healing skill as my, and I could play like a really old elf and get a bunch of skill points up front. And
so your concern is that no one has a healer on the table. Is that right?
Right. And the necromancer stuff is I mean, there's some really cool stuff you can do. Like
play the necromancer, man. I can hear it in your voice. Play the necromancer.
Okay.
Right. And I'm not going to pull punches with this game. And I have some ideas for stuff I'm going to do outside of the book. So have your goblin ready. Is what I'll say.
Oh.
Yeah.
No messing around.
Okay, so
I don't know. Sean, you know as well as I do. The GM may have nothing to do with it.
Right. Okay. Right.
That's fair.
Yep.
That's fair. Dude,
that's cool.
I don't.
It is one of the principles.
I don't understand this campaign at all. Like, what in the hell are we going to Antarctica for? I have no idea. Like, I live in Wisconsin, man. Fuck. No thanks. Like, what the hell?
So what went so terribly wrong? What went so terribly wrong that you would prefer Antarctica?
Well, that's a good point. And having said that, it may also be one of those situations where you just gotta for a character, whether it be me or somebody else, where you gotta flee the Ravenlands, or somebody's gonna find you and kill you.
Why do I feel like my elf has a big target on his back?
Hold that thought for a minute. I just don't
see Antarctica as the place to like hide out. Like, it's just, I keep saying Antarctica, but you know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, Sean, some of you could have like a price on your head. So, it's like a matter of time before an assassin or two find you, in which case getting on a ship and going to the New World, which is what people did, is something that you would do. Get the fuck out of Dodge,
I agree.
So you don't die.
As long as I know it's not a freaking huge, giant, continental size ice cube.
Well, like you said, you could easily meet somebody in the port bar who says, I've been there. This big bag of gold came from there. It's amazing. Right. So let me just do this to remind us of the principles of the game, right? The land is full of legends.
Yeah.
The world lies before you.
Yeah.
The adventurers make their own fate. Nothing is for free.
Right.
Them that got shall lose. So some of you may have been rich already and lost everything. Death is part of the story, to my point just a minute ago, and the end is never set. Right. So I think just keep those things in mind. I think we have an orc warrior who is looking for kind of stalwart companionship and, camaraderie, like he's part of the group. Right. And it may be that your tribe, Kevin, was wiped out or is getting ready for a war that, they cannot win. Like they're about to go against, a big group of human Alderlanders or whatever. Right. I think we're hearing from Wayne. He's playing an elf who has this ability to interact with the dead, but you don't quite know why you would go to the Bitter Reach yet. We haven't explained that yet. Now, I don't want to make a decision on that until we look at the other characters, because I think that'll start to become clear. Knowing that, I'm going to go to Phil next. Does that help you, Phil, or should I go to Sean? knowing we have two set.
Go to Sean, but I will say this. I don't think I'm going to be the elf anymore.
Okay.
I'm probably leaning towards the human with the backstory. I guess the only thing I don't really have yet set in my head is the profession.
Okay, that's fine. Sean.
Oh boy.
Knowing you got an elf and an orc in the party.
Yeah.
Elf necromancer.
An elf and an orc in the party.
Yep. So let me put this on the table. It could easily be that the elf knows there is a book of necromancy way the fuck up north, and he is determined to get it, and he's actually paid the rest of you to go with him. That could be it too.
Yeah, that would be enough for me, I think, for the most part. If I play that role,
The guide type.
yeah.
So you're probably
or even the guide. Like, oh yeah, I've been there. I know that place. Sure, yeah, no problem.
You could be a peddler. You're like
totally lost. Has absolutely no freaking survival skills or knowledge of the area. Total bullshit artist.
Or just a minstrel. Like,
yep.
I like it. That's fun.
Okay. So without anything being totally locked in yet, obviously anybody can change their mind on any of this stuff, but we have the orc, we have the elf. Sounds like Sean is a bit of a human ne'er-do-well type, but who is, keen to get out and about and see this unexplored land, may have been paid to do it, right?
Right.
Okay. And then Sean, you can think about whether or not you're like, I've been there before, or I'm from there, or whether you're just like, I can do this. I got this. Right.
Right.
So Phil, our wild card, and potentially our connector to the Rust Brothers as well. What are you thinking? Anything, man.
For some reason I'm struggling. All right. Yeah, no, I'm going to go with the human. And we don't have a hunter, do we? Like, I don't want to meta too much, but we're going to need somebody who can get us through the snow. So
Sean might be a hunter. I don't know.
Sean, what do you think? Is it going to be the hunter, minstrel?
I'm not
Rogue?
sure. My take is if somebody's like, I want to be this guy, then I'm fine with stepping aside. It's not a big deal. Like, I'm willing to play almost anything in this thing. Because here's the thing. If he or she dies, I get to play another thing.
Guys and I don't know this class all that well because it doesn't appeal to me. But could the peddler be kind of more like a face man or a trader? Right. I think they could. They don't have to be somebody who has a bunch of wares to sell. They could be someone who just likes to move stuff, and that actually could be one of the reasons why you go as well, Sean. If you play the peddler,
yeah, and I could.
The things from there are worth a shit ton back in the Ravenland.
Well, that's a good point. I could do that and just work as like somebody who is moving stuff for others or whatever. Mm-hmm. Trading, like simple trader, right?
You know what? You could be someone who's going to go up there because you're the first person to think about, we need to set up some trade going back and forth.
Yeah, there's got to be trade up there. There's an opportunity there for trade.
There's a port that's just opened up. People are striking into the interior. They're going to be bringing back shit tons of stuff that you can make money
ice cubes
on back home.
Totally selling ice cubes to the mainland.
There you go. So that I think opens up human hunter.
Sure.
For Phil?
Yeah.
All right. Everybody ruminate for a minute. Is this what you want in terms of your classes? Thumbs up from Sean. Okay. Phil?
Yeah, I think I'm good with that.
Okay. And if you want to change, I really don't care. Like, even if you play a session, you're like, this PC is not doing it for me. We'll make a new one. We'll slot them in.
Oh, we're good. Human's good. Human. Yeah.
And Sean, are you going rogue or peddler?
I'll go peddler, I guess. Yeah, I think I could. I
Some
could pull peddler
interesting
off.
talents
Well-
for peddler.
Yeah,
Why are we playing into Sean's predilection for getting all social with NPCs and hey everybody, let me talk to these guys.
put me on a stage in the middle of the woods.
That's right. The insulter, whatever his name was.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Orc fighter, elf necromancer. And I guess technically it's elf sorcerer, isn't it? And then necromancy is the type of magic. Human peddler, human hunter. Is there somebody, for the reason why you're trying to get to the Bitter Reach, you're trying to get to a port city and go to the Bitter Reach. Is it the necromancer who has heard of a tome or a black elf gem frozen in the ice or something like that? Or is it some other reason? Because it's because of the Rust Brothers. Because I think the human hunter is going to have that escaped from the Rust Brothers background as well, right, Phil?
Yeah,
It doesn't have to be either or.
It can be both. It can totally be both.
It could be. I could have been like trying to convince these people to go up to the Bitter Reach. And they're like, "What the fuck would we go up there?" And then it gets real with the Rust Brothers, and I'm like, "Hey, remember that tome? We could go check that out now."
So, are you open to this idea? The orc fighter and the human hunter know one another, and you guys have the interaction that meant one saved the other, and you became companions. We have a Fafhrd Grey Mouser thing going on, kind of. And the other two, the necromancer and the peddler, are the ones who are like, we need to get up to the Bitter Reach. And they're basically right place, right time. This may have been a while ago, but right place, right time. You two, hunter and fighter, want to get out of here anyway because of the Rust Brothers. And this is an opportunity to line your pockets with gold and take these two to the Bitter Reach. And so I can start referring to it correctly. The city you'd be going to is called Northfall. So there's rumors of riches untold of in the interior of the Bitter Reach, and Northfall has become a bustling town where all of the the movers and shakers are going, type of thing. So it kind of pairs you up. It puts the necromancer with the peddler, perhaps, right? You guys want to think about some connections? And I think, remind me, in Forbidden Lands, you're supposed to have a connection with each PC. Is that right?
I mean, it makes it work a little bit. I like what you did with Kevin and myself. I think that works with Kevin's idea of having hooked up with somebody and now sees themselves as a little bit of a bodyguard.
Yep.
Especially with me having fled the Rust Brothers. I think that certainly works.
Was he the last standing member of the orcs who were fighting Rust Brothers, and then you came along and killed one of them for him? Is that?
Yeah. Sure. I'm very,
I like that.
Okay.
You saw an out.
Yep. I'll let you guys run with that.
Okay.
I like it.
Okay. I see this guy being very young. I mean, I can adjust the age depending on how many years after the Blood Mist Harrigan. But if you're going with the 5 years, then he's probably about 22, 23 years old. So I'm going with a young guy.
Is everybody okay with it being 1165 and 5 years later? I mean, we can literally do whatever we want. We can say that it's 1165, but it's only been a year. I don't care. Give me a thumbs up if you're okay with it being 5 years. Okay. Sean?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. All right. Phil, we can also kind of ill-define it. Go early 20s, right? Okay. All right. So we've been on for an hour. Are you guys going to start building PCs? Is that what you want to do? I think you're all familiar enough with the tools. Let me know if you all have the right access that you need to your sheets and all that stuff. If you've got character art, you can I think you can upload it. I think that's the way I set it up, or you can just drop it to me in the Discord if you want to. I can do it.
Not yet, but I'll be thinking about it.
Yeah, it's fine. sorry if this is a little bit freeform. I normally like to have a little bit more, as you all know, around cats and that sort of thing. I don't think we necessarily need that for this group. I'll, by now, I'll probably lean things a little darker than Sean does, a little nastier than Sean does.
I feel like a cream puff all of a sudden.
You're not a cream puff at all. You're TPK'd our first party.
Right?
Yes, I
You
did.
did. And we made the party could handle any combat. The second party could handle any combat except against rivers.
Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Just note, the Grand Canyon created by a river.
Yeah, carved by a river. Damn right.
Niagara Falls, river.
Yeah, not overnight, but hey. Okay, and so I'll ask you to think of one thing as you're making your characters, just in terms of the starting point here. Okay, for us to all four of you to be together in the wilderness with a destination in mind, right? Okay, and that. Yes. Okay. Cool. Yep, I know exactly what I'm going to do. Just speak up if you need some help. I'm going to look for something for a moment. Some of the stuff with the gods, by the way, is really cool as well, that I didn't fully grok without reading the GM's guide.
Yeah, I was staying away from the GM's guide, but
there's some stuff in there that belongs in the player's handbook, frankly.
Yeah,
I had to look in there to figure out some god stuff with my last character.
Yeah.
If I stay away from the obvious, monster write-ups, adventure stuff, do you have a problem? Because I just feel like if
Wayne,
I don't elf,
I actually don't care if you read the GM's guide. Okay. Just we're a collection of players, I think, who can separate those things, right? There are some things. I will say this, and I haven't read the Bitter Reach very carefully yet. I have read and heard that the Bitter Reach has some serious spoilers in it. If you read them, people are like, if you're going to play this, don't read it. So,
I don't have it. So
yeah. Okay. Cool. Wayne, I have one last.
I never really used sleight of hand. Is that both pickpocketing and
locks,
bar magic?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Is anybody playing a rogue? No.
Peddler,
okay.
But I think he's got. I think the peddler has. It's got sleight of hand.
Okay, that's one of its. Okay, all right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. Harry.
Something else for you, Wayne, is from what I understand, every magic user gains the general spells too at the very beginning of the magic section. That's like the detect magic and stuff like that.
All right.
Remember, you can just drag all that crap over, right?
Yeah. I'm just trying. I'm trying to work out skills here.
Okay.
So they are so precious. All right.
What I was going to say to you, Wayne, is if you have a great idea tonight for the thing that your necromancer wants to find in the Bitter Reach, then put it out there. Otherwise, over the next week or two, I'm going to do some reading in the Bitter Reach, and I can come back to you with, based on the adventure sites that are in there and some of the characters that are in there, I can pitch ideas at you too.
I think that'd be more fun, honestly, if it was something it's tied that might be easier to incorporate.
Yeah, where there's a bunch of lore around it and that sort of thing. Yep, absolutely. There's a campaign in that book, and I have no idea if we're even going to come close to it, but there's one chapter that's a whole campaign. I'll say this: do any of you guys have the Raven's Purge?
Yeah,
it has a bunch of adventure sites. I just skimmed through it today. It has like 10 or 12 adventure sites.
Yeah,
it's really cool. Throwing the dice.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of shocked that my Foundry setup is working.
So I guess for my character, I'll take the Pathfinder skill, and so I'll be the one who leads the way. Are we all good with that?
Yep.
Okay. Sean, you good with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so do I need to drop some points in scouting and survival, or am I just along for the ride with y'all? I don't mind. I have a wits of 5, so I'll be pretty good at it, survival and scouting, just without putting points in there. But I'm okay with dropping some in there. We need it. Got. I'll leave.
The history around rust and heme is pretty cool too.
Mhm.
There's a lot of stuff where there's different facets of the same god, and people worship them in different ways. It's really
I
neat.
love that, because if you read like Norse mythology, like Thor and Odin are renamed and like switch positions and change and all over the Germanic, North. So
if I don't know if you guys can bear me blabbering while you're doing character generation, but the creation myth is cool because it's basically the creation god is the worm, right? It's the serpent. And the humans' original land was bored beneath, undermined, and tunneled out by these worms. So it ruined their homeland. So they appeal to that god, which finds them a new place to live, which is the Ravenland. But when it brings them, that's when they have the very first conflict with the elves and dwarves and the folks who are already in the land. But the super cool part is that so there's this huge human fleet that comes and they follow this raven that's carrying a serpent, right? The serpent is the worm. The raven, some people believe, is just an assistant to the serpent. Other people believe it's the god they're following, not the serpent. And the Rust brothers believe that the raven is made of iron and the serpent is made of wood from heme. So there's all this interconnectivity from the face. It's really cool. And none of it's in the player's book. It needs a second edition.
It's such a weird, like I was reading a lot of that early on, and it was 300 years of the Blood Mist. How much do these people know of any of this?
Yep.
And incorporating it would be fun, but then you run into how do you incorporate it? And
that's why I said at the front, Sean, I'm going to be freer with it than
Sure.
we've been. I think you're playing it straight, which is basically it's in the GM's guide. You should discover it in the tables and in the encounters. It comes out, right? That's why I asked if you guys were okay with it, because I've got a limited run here. I'm gonna dump some of it. Just put it on the table. Okay. I might regret what I'm doing, but I'm doing it anyway.
Oh, I think I got that wrong.
Interesting. So you guys can see that third tab still, or no?
What tab?
Like we got Welcome to the Forbidden Lands, Welcome to the Bitter Reach. Do you see the Ravenlands as well? The scene?
Nope.
Oh,
Okay. So it shared it like briefly. As soon as I didn't know it did that.
Well, you
So
don't
I
get
can
pulled to it unless you activate it.
right.
well, but when you activate a different scene, it's just gone. I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I thought activating it kept it as a tab on your screen, but it doesn't. Interesting.
Okay. I did my first pass on my skills. And I'd love for someone to check me to think this is wrong.
I can look in a second. Just give me one second, Wayne. I'm just changing.
And that way I won't interrupt. I won't interrupt anybody. That's cool.
Exactly. That's what I'm here for. So I just changed the permissions on the Ravenlands. You should see the map, and it has a little bit of space cleared now. But I will go to your character sheet, Wayne. Stas Sebano.
Oh, I am. No, it just says Wayne.
That's me.
Right.
Oh, I'm wrong guy. Yeah. Stas. Wayne's PC. So elf, sorcerer, and you went, did you go old, young?
I went old, but there's no age on the book for what and what the actual old is for an elf. It's not in the.
And it has to be numbers in that field, doesn't it?
Yeah, and in the character creation thing, when you run down there to see what the ages are, elf is not listed. It's human, half elf, dwarf, halfling, wolfkin, orc, goblin.
Say that again.
So in character creation, it has human. You're young if you're between 16 and 25, old if you're 51 or greater. Elf is not on that.
Really?
It really,
even though it's it is a covered kin.
It's not there.
Interesting.
At least in the let me look at the character.
They said that, I think in the book they say that elves start as adult. I think that was
I have to start as an adult.
Here's the table.
Oh,
I think it says that somewhere.
shit. Okay. Well, I got to redo my character.
Oh,
then.
that's the table you're referring to. Never mind.
That sucks.
You have to be an adult, or you can't be younger than an adult.
I don't know. I got to go. Let me go. Is it in the elf thing?
So it's on page 31 in the book, and it says for age, elves don't age in the normal sense of the word. Technically, they all count as adult.
Rats.
Oh, there you go.
Okay. Well, I got to go redo my skills anyway. So never mind. Don't look at them. Grr.
So your attribute points will change and all the rest.
Everything's going to change now. Yeah.
Okay.
Most importantly, I got to lose skill points. And I'll lose the talent. Damn. That doesn't make any sense.
That would be why. Well, Phil called why it's not on the table though. They're
true.
ageless.
That's true. Doesn't make any sense to me, but that's whatever.
Wayne, you're going to have to play a character who remembers before the Blood Mist, who remembers the wars, who remembers like when the humans came.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of do and they kind of don't. The way it's written in there, their memories every once in a while they just kind of reset, and they might remember something, which is why I was shoving a bunch into lore to kind of help with that. But okay, well, let me go redo my stats.
It's crazy. You could do everything with Foundry. You don't even have to buy the books for this stupid thing.
That's almost for every free
It's-
league they have.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So you're going to go back to 14 attribute points, Wayne?
Yeah, I got to. Yeah, I got to drop 2 skill points too.
Yeah, you do. Cheater. 5 more ogres just appeared.
Just trying to stay away from putting 1 skill point in anything, but I don't. All right. So now I've got.
You're trying to stay away from putting 1 skill point in?
Yeah, I mean, adding 1 die in this game system just doesn't do much for you, you know. So it occurred to me that it'd be better to just, put in 2 or put in 3 and into skills, that you can only have 3s in your skills for your profession. But anyways, that's what I was doing. That's what I'd done.
It adds somewhere in the neighborhood of 16%, man. All right, I'm going to get some water. I'll be right back.
Path of lies it is. You are a master liar, skilled at both seeing through lies and telling them yourself without being discovered.
Oh, here we
Rank
go.
1. If you spend a willpower point, then speaking with an NPC, the GM must reveal if the NPC is lying or not. The GM does not have to reveal what exactly the NPC is lying about.
Beautiful.
Nice.
It's either that or the path of many things, which will probably be the next one I try to grab, which is like carrying a knapsack that contains a seemingly endless supply of stuff and knickknacks.
Yeah, that was a great one.
Spend a willpower point. You could find almost any item from the list of trade goods. Cannot be heavy object, and it cannot cost more than 1 piece of silver per willpower spent.
Oh,
Once you have pulled an item from your knapsack, you must write it down on your character sheet, and you cannot put it back in your knapsack again. If you lose your knapsack, you must get a new one before you can use this talent again. Fantastic.
is dodging just a straight agility roll?
I
I
believe
think it's
so.
a move.
It's a move.
Is it that might be the skill, right? What is it? What do you dodge? You're trying to dodge?
Well, you could dodge in combat, I think. I can't remember what it was called, though. You could parry or you can dodge.
Right. Since now I'm in Harrigan's instance of Foundry, I don't have my handy GM screen module.
Right.
Have you seen that,
Yeah.
Wayne?
Yeah. Yes, I have. I've not used it to good effect, though.
dodge. Fast reactive action. You throw yourself out of the way of your opponent's attack. Roll move, not melee.
Okay.
When you dodge, you fall prone. You can choose to remain standing at a -2 penalty to your roll.
Jesus. So, oof, that's tough. I'm thinking having a 2 strength is really a death warrant.
You'll be fine.
Just
Be
don't
fine.
take any strength damage. There's other
Correct.
damage you could take.
Clearly.
Everything will be fine.
All right. I hear you. Okay. Strength of 3 it is.
Strength 5.
All right. All right. Okay. So talents.
Harrigan,
Yeah,
take a path of lies. Are you aware?
I heard you. Yes, I had my
Okay.
headset on.
Gotcha.
Spend willpower to ruin my day. Understood.
Come on. It's all
So
about the
this is gonna be-
story.
This is going to be funny. So basically, what's going to happen is Harrigan's going to make sure to try to make at least 3 statements at the same time.
That's right.
And Sean is going to try to interrupt him to say, I still want willpower. He makes the first assertion. I spent my willpower.
As I was reading that, that's what was going through my head. I just have to inject myself quick enough so that Harrigan doesn't have a choice to lie about just anything.
That's right. That's right. Absolutely. The sky is red. It's going to be sunny tomorrow. And I don't know where that one is.
Blast.
Damn it. Sky isn't red.
The sky is red. I'm thirsty. And I.
Yeah, 2 can play that game.
All right. So you get your Ken talent.
Oh, I know where they are. Okay.
And then
Search doors. No, it didn't work.
Path of Death.
Ooh. Okay. I also heard you talk about the other path, Sean, which sounded really cool, which is the pack that has all kinds of crap in it. That's awesome.
That'll be my next one I try to get.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
The Path of Gold is okay, but I don't know.
So since we've been playing, since our characters have known each other for so long, is that going to actually get to start with the point of willpower?
Looking like a true magic.
Said every spellcaster in this
Yeah.
system.
Ever? Yeah, right.
Oh shit.
What was that?
What was that for?
2 silver pieces. That's what I'm starting with.
Oh.
Oh,
Wayne, Harrigan, are you good with us spending that money then, obviously?
Yep.
Beauty. Okay.
I am.
Oh, God help me. I can't do a lot with 2.
Yeah, I'm very comfortable with you spending 2 silver pieces.
Yeah, knock yourself out, dude.
Awesome. Sweet.
Quite comfy.
And it's 10 copper to 1 silver, right? It's the 10 to 1 ratio.
Yep.
Awesome. Got it.
Yep.
Okay.
Cold-blooded. Huh. How apropos, even though it's not environment related. Boo.
It lets you kill without making the empathy roll, right?
Yeah.
Is that what it does?
Right.
Oh, the other grouping experienced that.
Yep.
Do they?
Yep. Yeah. They,
Yeah, when I had to kill
Black
Black
Nose.
Nose.
No, but I'm talking about the Wednesday night group
Yeah,
Has
Sean's
had-
other.
has had to
Oh.
encounter that. Yeah.
Oh.
Jim. I think it was Jim.
Ooh.
Like, hey, Jim, You gotta roll empathy. He's like, looks at me.
The fuck?
Yeah.
What are you talking about, Sean? So
Did you offer to roll it for him? I'm sorry. That's
Oh,
yeah, that was a Jim. That was a Jim dig.
yeah.
So here's a question for the Foundry mavens here. If I drag all 4 of your tokens onto the Forbidden Lands front page that has the cover of the book on it, when you upload your pictures, will we have to do it in 2 places?
You need to wait
token-
until we're kind of done.
Yeah. If
That's
you
what
drop
I'm
them,
saying.
if you drop them
Yeah.
before the images are in place, then
Yeah.
those
it's
tokens
like-
will not have the images.
It's like you're instantiating like a quasi copy that
A
has some connectivity but not full connectivity. It's weird.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, it's weird.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not gonna do it now yet. Then. There is a piece, Sean. I don't know if you knew it was there. You must know it's there. The map has all those like stickers on the right hand side.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It depends on how, I mean, you could play, obviously, you could play this many different ways, as far as like, do you want to kind of predetermine, take the stickers and plot them randomly around so that when the players just run into it, it's there, which is fine. My take was, I don't know where you guys are going to go, and I don't want you traveling and traveling and traveling without potentially running into something.
Mhm.
So that's the way I took it. But once it's discovered, then I don't think I've placed stickers. I have placed some markers for my own reference.
Okay, so here's the thing on the talent. So we start off with a kin talent.
Mhm.
We get a professional talent,
Mhm.
and then it says a number of general talents of your choice. I mean,
No, of your
so
age.
of your age. So, so
Oh, general
As
is what you were
written,
talking
you
about before. Yeah.
can't take any of the other spells. I could take a rank 2 in
Does-
one, but
Does
I
anyone
can't-
object if Wayne wants to take a second class, a second school, or whatever they call them of spells?
Yeah, that's fine.
Do it, Wayne.
Nope.
Okay.
No. No issue.
Yep.
That's what I'm
Do it.
trying to say.
Plus 10 ogres. Okay, all good.
Cool. Thanks.
Going up and up.
So now that I made that big choice, I actually didn't have anything picked out because I just realized I can't take healer. All right.
You can't take healer?
I think that's a druid only, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. You can't be a sorcerer. Yeah. Is that true? That's going to make Kasha very upset.
That, yeah.
In the book, it says that. Whether we play like that,
Right.
Yeah. It's up to you, man.
find somebody who would teach you. It's heavy.
Maybe that's what you're trying to learn.
Yeah. That makes, because I could see this character like being interested in both aspects of that,
Yep.
But I did take
Wayne,
healing.
I don't care if you add it, Wayne. Yeah.
Really?
Nope. I don't care. It's fine.
Be that or Path of Signs. Signs is kind of cool.
So we have the, I think, Phil, were you going to be the lead the way guy? Is that the
Yeah.
deal?
Yeah.
Okay. So did you take Pathfinder?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah. I've also got as my profession talent, I took Path of the Forest.
Oh, that's a cool one. And yeah, that's a great one actually for going to the Bitter Reach.
Well, hopefully the title, those, we're not going to get too, there's no forest in the Bitter Reach. Hopefully we don't dig too deep into that title.
Right. I was thinking like, what the hell? There's no woods up there.
It's just shorter. Okay.
Yeah. It's when you forage, hunt, or lead the way, you succeed automatically if you spend a willpower point. You can roll first and spend the point if you fail.
Right, but the second one isn't the second one. You're immune to cold. Well,
yeah. When rolling to endure cold, you automatically succeed if you spend a willpower. You can roll first and spend the point if you fail. That is in the back of my mind for sure.
Sure, that makes perfect sense.
Harrigan, if you want to take a look, I think my PC's built.
I will do exactly that. Phil's PC. Okay. Strength 3, agility 5, wits 4, empathy 3. So that is 15. So you're young.
Yeah.
Right. 22. Yep.
Yeah.
You mentioned that before. A little bit of melee. I need to bring up my little, if you want me to check math and that kind of thing, I need to bring it up.
So I get 8 skill points, and I've got the 3 talents, right? My kin, my profession, and I pick one general.
Got a knife and a short bow.
Yeah, being young sucks. It's brutal in this game.
But you can't improve those attributes, dude.
Yeah, I get that. I do get that. There is that, but I'm like, is it really worth it? Because talents are so big.
All right, so you're a big time woodsman.
Yeah,
gotcha.
Yeah.
So how long ago was it that you were raised by the Rust brothers and escaped the Rust brothers and all that stuff? Was it just a little while ago, or was it?
Are we going with the 5-year scenario with the blood mist?
It's up to you. I don't think anybody is married to a time frame for the blood mist. I will also say this: there are still pockets of the blood mist around, right?
Yeah.
So your group could have been like, "You're going into the valley, boy, where the blood mist still lurks," kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
So if you want to play with it that way, you can do that too. So what are you thinking? Was it recent or was it years ago?
I would have said that they would have attacked the village and brought me into the fold when I was young, probably 7 or 8. And I spent at least a decade with them. My guess is at least a decade. I also, for some reason, picture them as having been situated more to the west of the Ravenlands. So if you're putting us all the way to the east, I would have had to have escaped from the, sorry, what Harrigan?
I am not. You're kind of mid-map. You're going to be kind of in the middle.
Mid-map-ish. Okay, mid-map-ish. So that wouldn't have taken necessarily all that long to get there.
I know where that is.
Ish.
It might be where that goblin cave is, where the other party is actually.
Maybe. Phil, it may have been long enough that kind of doesn't matter. You may have trucked all over by now, right?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. What are you thinking, Kevin, in terms of how long we've been together? Do you have any kind of time frame in your mind?
Nothing nailed down.
Yeah.
I'm kind of okay with saying it's been a while.
Okay.
And that's why we trust like moving around with each other. If it's been a couple of months, maybe it's like, well, so that guy keeps following me and says he owes me his life, I guess. But if it's been a year or two or something, then
let's go with, I was thinking a year or two. Let's go 2 years. We've been doing this. So that means then it's been 2 years since that battle where it was myself, a Rust brother, and Kevin's orc. And I just saw the opportunity and I stuck my knife deep into that Rust brother's back. And that's when we hooked up. And we've been traveling together for 2 years since then. How's that? Is that okay, Harrigan?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Cool. It is. It is. If you want to note that on your sheet, that'd be cool. Just so we recall that. A couple of years.
Yeah.
So sorry. Make sure I'm tracking. So you're saying the Blood Mist is a couple of years old, right?
Sure.
Got it. So not 5 years, but more like 2.
Or like you said, it could have been a pocket, right? They were leading me to a pocket.
Do you have a preference?
I'm cool with either, whatever what fits your narrative, but they're leading, because we can go with they're leading me to a pocket, and we were set upon by orcs. I really had no desire going into the pocket because I knew one of two things was going to happen. Most likely I was going to die, but if I came out the other side, I was going to be probably a Rust brother for life. So for me, this felt like either way things were going to go, well, I was going to be dead, or I wish I was going to be dead. And then we're set upon by these orcs. And then I saw my opportunity and took it.
Got it. Which ended up also saving the orc. Okay. All right. So it's pretty tightly bound together then. Let's say it's a pocket. And maybe the orcs know the Rust Brothers used this place for their rituals, and they were lying in ambush, and there was a pitched battle, right? Kind of thing. Gotta love a game that has sleeping fur as an item.
I took
and
that.
It provides a bonus.
I took it.
I totally took that.
Yeah, I took it.
It provides a bonus.
I also grabbed a small tent. If nobody else ends up with one. So
cool. So the other thing to bear in mind, maybe I'll get the rules for this. Must be under gear. Anybody remember where the encumbrance rules are? Must be under gear.
Ugh.
Yeah.
So it's really like the only rule system that I think is just totally not useful. All right.
Anybody remember what it's called? It's not encumbrance. It is
weight. Maybe.
Weight's not pulling anything up from the journals.
Well, the journals aren't that great for searching.
Should I go to the compendium?
Depending on how you're searching. If you're looking for items and under the item list, things are really easy. But if you're looking under journals, it's a pain in the ass to pull anything out of that book.
Yeah, I'm looking for journals because I'm looking for rules.
Yeah, good luck. I usually pull the PDF up, Harrigan, and run it in parallel.
Okay.
It's under your adventurer in the.
Okay.
Also, Harrigan, you should install, well, if you want, the GM screen module. What it does is it puts a tab down below the bottom of your screen. If you click that tab, it brings out a shelf or a.
Oh, really?
Yep. And then you can.
Is it specific for this game?
No, it's for any game.
Yeah.
So what you do is you can grid it out. It only comes up to like half your screen, right? So it slides in and out like a drawer.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You can add multiple tabs onto that GM screen. In each tab, it's just the face. You can divide it up into cells. So you can do it by, I think you can do like a 4x4, a 3x4, or whatever. Then what you do is you go into the journals and drag the entry into those cells.
So you can keep the reference.
And all the links will still work and everything. So I have one for combat. I have one for journey. I have one for poison and disease.
Oh, cool.
and something else.
Quick access to the rules. Yeah.
So you can just pull it up, click on a tab, and then each cell is labeled per the entry. It helps immensely.
What's it called, Story? GM
screen.
I'll look it up. So get this. Doesn't sound like what I remember. And it is called encumbrance. I have to remember encumbrance is encumbrance, not encumbrance. There's no E in there. You can carry a number of regular items equal to double your strength. Use your base strength score, not temporary, yada, yada, heavy and light items. Over encumbered, you can temporarily carry more than your normal limit, strength times 2. I thought it was just strength. Strength times 2. Oh, no. Of course, because the strength scores are very low. That's right. So my point is, Wayne, for you not liking the encumbrance rules because you are over encumbered so easily, right? Really, they only hurt you if you're trying to run.
Or force march, I think, too.
Or yeah, like a force march kind of thing. I'm reading it right now.
Move actions, probably.
But move actions, all that, you mean?
Yeah.
It may be realistic. I don't like it in that.
I know what it is. Sorry. It is when you hike or when you run in combat, you make an endurance roll and you take 1 point of agility damage. So I guess it's not the end of the world, right? If you're hiking, it's kind of sucks in combat, but what that does in combat is that does the Twilight 2000 thing, which is drop your fucking pack. That's the whole point of what that is meant to model. Drop your gear if you're going to fight. Because hiking, think about it. Hiking for, is it a hex or is it a whole quarter day? For a whole quarter day, you only lose 1 point of agility, which I don't think is all that bad, frankly.
You heal it up at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of what I'm getting at. That's not so because I know in our game we've always been like, God damn, I can hardly carry anything, and we're all deathly afraid of going over that threshold. And going over the threshold isn't that bad if you drop stuff in combat. Is what I'm getting at.
It would be nice it would be really cool if I mean, yeah, we could do that, but what I don't understand is how how this game engine handles it if you're making rolls, because otherwise you have to go through and delete the items from your character sheet. Otherwise, it's going to be. I think it takes it all into, which is just an annoyance.
What do you mean? What do you mean? I think you could say I'm dropping my gear. I'm no longer encumbered, and not even make the encumbrance roll.
Okay, as long as you aren't having to do that. Yes. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
I know what you mean, though. What you're saying is there's no easy way to flick stuff off and on. You can't just I'm not carrying this anymore. Now I am carrying this kind of thing.
Yeah,
that would be nice.
A lot of the other game systems I have, there's just a little icon that is equip and unequip, and you can just go click, and you aren't equipped anymore, and that's easy to do.
Still on your sheet. Yeah.
Star Wars does that.
Screw with anything. Yeah. OSE does that.
Mm.
All right. I got 5. I have a knife and 5 silver pieces.
Just reading your background here, Phil. Looking good.
Okay, cool.
Looking good. So you need to do your pride, dark secret, face, body, clothing, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. How's everybody else doing? Anybody else need an assistance or just review?
You could look. I'm just getting to bio stuff. I am.
Yep.
I guess
I'm in the same spot. Yep.
I went ahead and added all the spells that I could possibly cast.
Okay. Which is a lot of spells.
Well,
right?
I'm sorry. Yeah. Well, if I have willpower.
You can have extra. You can have extra. The extra schools. You cannot have a free willpower point. You have 0 willpower.
Welcome to the fun of pushing every roll.
Yes. Yep.
Can I push this? You already have
That's
a soul.
another reason.
I know.
That's another reason I actually was like, 2 strength. I think that's just asking for it.
Right. I push for the willpower and pass out.
Healer down.
I think I've knocked Kasha out twice now by pushing, right? Broken her twice, I think. It happens.
Okay, so
Anything else you're noticing, Sean, that you have set up that I don't, that you think would make your life easier or my life easier?
Trying to
I know I
think.
didn't load in any of the quick reference guide type stuff. Remember how we found a bunch of sheets that were compilations of a combat rules and that sort of thing?
Yeah,
I haven't loaded any of that in. I might do
I
that.
could share those if you want to upload them. I don't know.
I've got them.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. There wasn't a lot of modules that I see you don't have installed that I do. GM screen was the one that stuck out.
Okay.
Also, for those that were getting their butts kicked by the dice tray, the way it works is you don't type you can type in the command to roll. I don't know why this doesn't work the way it should. But if you build the dice pool from the dice tray down at the bottom of the chat, and you click, drag, and hold, and then snap it out onto the screen, it will roll the dice pool that you had built. If you do that and just hit the roll button, you're liable to get an error for some reason.
What?
I don't know.
It worked for me.
By just clicking the roll button?
Yeah. So I'll just put 46 roll.
I know for us, it
one die.
was erroring out
was
all
Phil.
the time.
Oh.
Yeah, you're right. It was.
So I don't know if they patched it, but I don't know. Maybe it's,
That was like one night though, or 1 or 2 sessions that it was
I
doing
had
that.
it with the Wednesday night group too.
Really?
Yeah. Now it's the
It's
same
working now.
instance. It's the same instance, right?
Right. Maybe it was something that.
Yeah. But you just drag and throw it and it works. So I'm not quite sure what the deal is.
Ooh.
God, I was thinking about picking Axe Fighter and Defender.
Woohoo.
That's I'm not even a fighter type.
Pender's
It is the
nice.
Ravenland. Yeah.
I know.
You've survived this long.
Could probably use something that's like Chef. Anybody picking Chef?
Hello,
went all
children.
Magic.
Hello, children.
Hello, children.
Sorry. Yeah.
Isaac Hayes.
Chef.
Man. It was Isaac Hayes, right?
It was. Until they fired him.
Or did he quit?
Take your pick.
I know it was over, but
He was mad, and I think they were like, you know what? We make fun of everyone, so
yes. Yeah.
you can't handle it. He may have quit though. I forget what
Yeah, I
exactly
don't
happened.
remember.
I don't recall who's throwing dice for meaningless reasons. Hand of Doom. That's gonna be good. Power level 1.
As in Temple of Doom spell.
Reach into somebody's chest.
Yep.
Squeeze their heart.
Yep. Take the amount of strength damage equal to
Power level.
power.
Nice.
You can blow an extra point of power to do it at close.
Oh,
You don't have to touch
from
them.
from distance. Phil, this magic system rocks, dude. You need to.
No, I know. I looked it over. I was because Kevin's saying he didn't want to do it. I contemplated it and I looked at it and I was kind of like, you know what? I think part of it is too is me being such an anti-VTT guy. I just didn't want to have to deal with all the fiddly shit you guys do. So I'm just like,
there is some fiddle. A little bit of fiddle.
So I'm just like, no, I don't want to deal with it.
Little devil went down to Georgia. Fiddle.
Anybody take Master of the Hunt? Nobody? Jeez, man.
Yeah, I don't know. I was looking through talents, and all of the gear ones are really specific to the gear you're making. And so I was like, well, I'll figure those out as we go. Like, if I want to make metal stuff, I take Smith. If I make cloth stuff, I take Taylor. Stuff like that. Not sure. May end
The
up
leather
picking up
worker ended up being really good because you could make armor, you could make other crap.
leather worker.
I think that's what I made the armor with.
Tanner.
Tanner, that was it.
That's a good idea.
And Taylor. I think Kasha has Taylor and she's used it like once maybe.
Yeah, I think I was going to get Taylor for Maruk's Etsy store.
Good old Maruk.
Yeah.
Good old demon Maruk.
What's worse than an undead demon? An undead demon in the body of a killing machine.
Yes.
Right?
There was a tweet on Twitter, go figure, that was asking if anybody had conversations between two NPCs or more as your player character party sat and watched. And I said I had.
Sean's like,
Those are my favorite moments.
And I said there were two vultures. I said that were like Stadler and Waldorf. And I said, and I put in a quote of how they would bicker between themselves. And one of the folks was like, "Oh, that's just freaking awesome," Like, it only lasts for so long, though.
I really like that adventure site, though.
It is a cool adventure site.
Very cool.
Very cool. It's wacky, kind of, but it's that's the point of the whole Spire.
The spider cat's owl. Oop. My foundry is losing connection and rejoining. Do you guys know the origin of orcs in this game?
Yeah, we made them. Ungrateful bastards.
Wait a second.
Yeah. So when the humans came to the Ravenland and there was trouble, the worm created this mountain range, right, basically, where the humans were on one side, the elves and dwarves on the other. It was uneven because the old races were very few and the humans just proliferated like crazy. They crafted the orcs to balance the numbers out of clay. So basically to give them equal numbers type of thing. So there was a lot of orcs. I like the lore a lot.
There's a lot.
Yeah, in like 30 or 40 pages, they go to a fair bit.
Yeah. I found if you do a search for like timeline maker, I was thinking of like mapping out the timeline. Well, somebody had already done it in the same app that I came across. It was pretty cool. Yeah.
Anybody need a review? Who is Scrag? Scrag must be Kevin.
Yep.
Scrag shield bearer. Okay. Scrag is an adult?
Yep.
Look at those strength skills. Jesus.
Well, that's what he's kind of built for one thing. I'm not sure how it's going to work, though.
Scrag smash. He's built for one thing, all right.
I could, if nobody else took like quartermaster, I could tinker around with some things and have some, is it survival that lets you build camp? Unless somebody else was doing that.
You could.
Okay. Yeah, I think I might, because I grabbed shield. What's the gear? I'm going to change his his title, shield bearer. I'm going to change that because I can't start with a shield. So I'm going to tinker. I can't.
You don't have enough money.
No, they cost 6 silver.
Hmm.
But I'm okay with that being a goal of his to.
Exactly.
So I'll grab quartermaster. I'll get rid of shield fighter, and then I'll tinker with my skill points a little.
Cool.
Baby. See, I get an error when I do mine. Must be. Oh, is it? I might. That is so weird. Must be me.
Yep. Yeah. I don't know. Are you the only person here using a Mac?
Maybe.
Are you using a Mac, Wayne? Yeah. Maybe your browser. Because I can just hit dice and just click roll.
Yeah, something is totally amok on my end. I don't know what it is. 7 silver.
Well, that's good.
Rolling in it.
Oh, you know what? I can't gain another point of survival.
Wasn't one of Sean's story points that he was giving us loot to come with him? Wasn't that one of the things that he said? Yeah. Fork it over, Sean.
I want to know if Phil's character is lying.
It said
No,
NPC
spend a willpower
only.
point.
Spend a willpower point.
You don't even have to do a willpower point. I'll just tell you no.
Sean, what browser are you using?
One of those he believes it.
Trome.
Oh, okay.
Well, have we
I'm
settled
using
that?
Edge.
Because we have the
Edge.
two. We have the two who got mixed up because of the Rust brothers and who have been traveling together for a couple of years, right? But then we have the necromancer elf. May as well start using names here.
Askelon.
Askelon, and Stas.
Stas. Stas.
Askelon.
Sabanu.
Askelon and Stas.
Stas. Stas.
When did Stas?
Oh my God. This is going to go on forever. You just do your best.
So what's the story with those two? Because I don't know if we've plumbed those depths yet.
Well,
I chose the you owe silver to a powerful individual, a lot of silver for my dark secret.
Got it. And so your angle is Bitter Reach is opening up in terms of trade and whatnot and items coming out. So all that, I can make some good money up there. Right.
Yeah.
And Wayne. So do you guys know each other? And the point was that you're kind of traveling together, right?
Who are you, Wayne? What are you doing?
Askelon, elf sorcerer, who was asked to leave. They didn't explain. They didn't quite understand my work, and I wanted to learn about the ways of the mortal races.
He could, shit. I don't know. We could know each other. I mean, I don't know. You could tie him together by circumstance, or I might imagine it'd be circumstance at some point anyway, but,
Don't you like start off with like a cart and stuff, or can't you start off with a cart and stuff?
who, me?
Yeah.
Can
As a
I? As a peddler? You get a free cart?
I don't know. I thought they started off with like a lot of crap.
3 items of your choice from the list of trade goods.
Oh.
I don't know. Not a ton
Okay.
necessarily.
Okay. Well,
There's the backpack thing that comes into play. I mean, I guess we could have just run into each other. I don't know.
I mean, if he was trading in the elf city that I was in, and needed to leave, I could have just asked him, if he needed the assistance of somebody who has some knowledge of healing arts. I think that's my ticket into a lot of things, is my abilities as a healer.
Well, you can't, for me and you, if you play that angle, I might not care if you like, hey, this is the deal. If you're signing on with me, you come with me, you don't come with me. And if you come with me, you hold your own. And then if that's like, well, what the hell, it's better than going alone out into nowhere. And I might have traded with the elves at some point, and
Well,
I mean, it may just be that simple. I don't know.
I have an idea, but I don't want to force feed it.
Unless Wayne's got something else, I'm completely open. I'm not forced.
the only other thing I was thinking of is if you were in some kind of bind, and one of my less than savory, people with limited imaginations don't quite understand my magic, but I was trying to think of a circumstance where I cast Speak for Dead for you to get you out of a problem.
Maybe somebody I knew something that I needed, and then he died. He or she died.
Right. And you were like,
son of a
you're like,
bitch,
I don't need a healer unless you can bring someone back from the dead. And I'm like, well, I mean, how picky are you about what that might mean?
And if Harrigan wants to put that into why I want to go, and unless it's just going to the Bitter Reach to establish a trade post and make out some big money. Otherwise, it could be tied to also whatever the dead guy knew that I needed to know so badly that I would have this necromancer that I didn't even think would be able to pull it off.
I just thought it would be fun if somebody who you're traveling with, or somebody who you are bidding against something, died, and I used my magic to wake them up so you could ask a question of them.
So hold that thought, because that could be anything from the location of a map or a key or passage on a vessel that person has, right?
Mm-hmm.
Big picture wise, I can also see, may have been a few months ago, like you two don't have to have known each other for years, right? The other two are sort of companions or friends. This may be that the character names here. Askelon seeks out, it wants to seek out passage to the Bitter Reach, right? It just so happens that you're not near the Bitter Reach yet, so you're kind of collecting a group as you go. Like, I need some companions to help me go cross continent, and maybe the promise of payment is to come, right? Something like that. It may be that Stas was simply nearby and was like, "You're going where?" Right? You're in a tavern. You're in a trade hall or something, and Stas joins up and just wants to go to the same place. So there's two of you who are going there for your own purposes, and then you happen to travel together for a few months, right? As you come from the south and are now going to go to the east and the north to try to find one of these port cities. But you could also fall into that Wayne, what you're talking about, which is maybe there's a dead body somewhere that has a vital piece of information. I don't know. How does that wire them closer to you?
Well, what I'm saying is, if I don't know, one of the ways that I'm just saying that would be, that's something that would be very hard if there was somebody who's dead who had a piece of information that one of the other player characters knew, that would be something pretty unusual that I could pull off for them and have really helped. Reading spell again.
Have we all got dark secrets?
Yeah, I think so.
Let's look at those to see if they allow some cross.
I'm working on it. I'm trying to.
Okay.
I mean, I wrote one down, but I don't know that I like it.
Okay, so the orc has abandoned his clan. They're going to be doomed. Has to redeem himself. Okay, the Conn has killed a Rust brother. So they're coming after you. Stas owes silver, I think, right? You owe silver to a powerful individual, a lot of silver.
Stas.
Haunted by visions beyond the veil.
I want to change that. I mean, I think he's seen like a not just like visions. I don't think he's scared of death. I think he's seen something, a being. Does that make more sense? I just don't see an elf really being, especially because he's fascinated by death. But either during his studies, or maybe this was the thing that triggered his interest, is that he saw something that is, bothers him when he, from time to time.
What was that thing? Like, did he see it for real and now he dreams about it? Or is he seeing it only in his visions?
I'm thinking that he what if there was like a, when he was being just a magical scholar, what if he looked into some kind of pool or mirror or something like that, and conversed with something from beyond the veil, and at first he thought this was, some wise, benevolent creature, and then he realized it was not. It was some some kind of malevolent being. I'm sorry, I don't have anything specific, but I kind of like the idea of him being fooled for a while by this, and maybe this is tied to that artifact. Maybe this is the thing that got him interested in death, and
is there someone who died that you're trying to visit or bring back or something like that?
And I need to reread the elf thing again. I don't know how elves think of it when they it's something like one of the crystals actually shatters. What happens? Because my idea behind this character was, he was pretty isolated for decades, at least in his studies. And
but I think the question that we're circling around is what drove him to be interested in those studies. Is it pure curiosity, or is there something he's trying to accomplish by learning a certain kind of magic, a certain spell, to undo something, to bring someone back, to seal something off, right? That sort of thing.
Yeah.
Or not.
Yeah.
It might simply be this curiosity to understand the way that the world works.
Yeah. Originally, my idea was it was curiosity. And I think the reason I was going down that road, Harrigan, was that I didn't want to make this guy and I'm trying to make myself into a lich like every other freaking necromancer. I just thought, it would be more interesting that he was investigating it as some kind of natural phenomenon. But to try to find something to drive him forward. That also
you can figure it out in play as well. I mean, you've got the drive that we need, which is basically you're interested in this dark magic, and there's going to be a MacGuffin or a thing that is in the bitter reach that you're like, we're going to go get that thing, right? If you want to, if you want to sleep on it and spend a little bit of time thinking about, is that a super meaningful part of this, or is it literally he just seeks knowledge, right? It may be as simple as that.
Okay.
Sean, you have to figure out, I think, whether or not you're okay with Stas simply being like, you're going where? I'm in for that. I owe this, I owe a shitload of money. I want to get the loan sharks keep them from leaning on me. And there's a good chance of bringing a haul back, which would take care of your, right? So you're more like along for the ride, like you see an opportunity type of thing.
Yeah.
If you're cool with that, it could be that simple. Where are we all? Finishing up?
I think I need to just, think on this some more.
What about you, Phil? Haven't heard from you in a bit.
Yeah, I think I'm good.
Good to go?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know that I have anything else to do really with the character.
Okay. What about you, Kevin?
Yeah. I think I've got a good idea, or I like where I'm at. I don't necessarily think I have anything really to add right now. I'm actually just looking through character art, trying to pick something out that I think represents Garm. I changed his name.
Garm, Conn, Stas, and Askelon. And Sean, sheet-wise, you think you're ready to roll?
I think I'm close. I've got everything through gear and Dark Secret and my talents chosen. I still haven't spent any money. Well, actually, I have. How much is a hand axe? Does anybody know? That's the only thing I think I have on my sheet I haven't accounted for financially. But yes, I should be pretty much done. This is the first time I've gone through PC gen, so yeah, I don't know. Maybe. I think I am.
Hand axe is 2 silver.
All right, so I got 5 silver now. So I got gear, I got coins, I am not encumbered, and I don't have any mounts. Consumables are accounted for.
Back in 2.
What's that?
I just said keep going. I'll be back in 2 minutes.
And then I just got to do my appearance. I think that's it. And I'm good. So just for the record, I have chosen the ones that matter to you guys are going to be Master of the Hunt. And I have a bear trap. So I will be doing that probably.
Nice.
I also have a spyglass as part of my
nice.
standard gear, so that'll give me a +1 on scouting. And I imagine unless somebody beats me out on scouting, I will probably be doing the keep watch. The keep watch, obviously, and the keep watch scouting piece while we hike.
Beauty. Okay.
Nice.
That would give me, I think close to like 6 dice.
Who's making camp in the group? Sorry if I missed that. Got it.
Yep, I took quartermaster and I have a tent. I'm not super skilled at it yet, but I'm okay with spending some XP.
I went heavy on some skills, but I thought that's probably not the smart way. Because then you limit yourself to nothing in other ones.
Right.
Like if I don't spend a skill point on melee, I don't have any.
I have no strength skills at all.
Well, but for you, that's not a big surprise. But for me, it's a weird class or profession.
It is.
Because, you're like, am I fighter? No. So I'm sneaky guy, but I'm not a rogue.
Right.
Right.
And it's totally based on where you put your skill points and your talents. Like Golgara is a druid, but has a ton of skill points and talents in marksmanship. Like, yep, really good at fighting in that regard.
It's almost
They don't
like
have
it's
to match.
10 times better than a class system.
If only it had a D20.
Yeah, if only.
I felt the sincerity in that comment, Harrigan.
All right, let me do just a time check and a check in with everybody. Do we want to try to get a little bit of play in tonight? Do you want to just finish the characters and wrap it up? What do you guys want to do?
I'm good with whatever. I can do either.
Okay, one for ambivalence. Thanks, Kevin.
You're welcome. You asked.
I did. I did. It's true.
Yeah, it's up. I'm open. I know it's getting late for Wayne.
Well, late for Phil and Wayne.
For Phil and Wayne.
Both Eastern. Late schmate.
But it's Friday. I mean,
It's Friday night.
Phil?
I think Wayne, on your part, yeah, let's ruminate and think about some of the motivation stuff. With let's not twist ourselves in knots over exactly why. Same thing true for you, Sean, in terms of exactly why would you have signed on and all that sort of stuff. Like, has the money changed hands or whatever? We can kind of develop that as the story unfolds a little bit, right? If go ahead, Wayne.
It did occur to me that, whether or not Stas or Askelon at one point in time paid everybody a lot of money to, escort them or whatever, we could still be penniless now. Shit could have happened. and this is kind of where we are but just FYI.
Yeah, I actually like that idea a lot where, there was a substantial payment made, but it was a month ago and you've been robbed. Maybe you had like a hidey hole where you're like, no one's going to find it here and it's gone. Right.
Right. Again, that gives us the reason for like, well, screw this noise. Let's just get the hell out of here. But yeah.
Yep. So Sean,
if you want to play a little bit, that's fine with me. Or if you don't, that's also good.
Phil's going back and forth.
Oh, I'm cool with whatever. I'm kind of like Kevin, whatever we want to do here.
Okay. If we're okay with it, I wouldn't mind doing a hex or two of travel at least. And, we don't need to go super late. We can either go another half an hour, or we can go an hour, whatever, but we won't go crazy.
Get a little XP. I'm good with that. We can get 2 points tonight. Let's do it, boys.
There you go.
As long as I can fail some rolls, I'm okay.
There you go.
I haven't
Sean,
thought about what voice I'm going to use.
Are you still buying equipment?
I should be good. I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't do that really, but I don't know what I need. Go ahead.
You need some chalk, some bandages. What other random stuff did my
I could
characters
possibly
carry
use
around?
Do the spells tell you what you need to use for?
Well, it's not need. If you spend them, you get an extra point of
Power.
effect level, willpower, or whatever it's called.
Power.
It's power. But I'm saying it's whatever you want to use.
It's listed, though you can also get creative.
Cool.
Every spell has the component listed. If you write your own spells, you just got to come up with your own, right?
Okay, right.
They're pretty specific, the components. Like really
That's why
specific.
I was looking for chalk all the time.
Yeah. I am having some issue with Foundry right now where it won't load. I can't switch scenes. So I'm just going to try to refresh and see what happens. Is anybody else having issues with it?
No.
I don't know.
Now it's not coming up for me. Go slowly. Okay, it worked that time. I don't know why it did that, but it did. All right, I'm going to ping on the map. If you guys are on the Raven, I need to change the name of that. There's a... It's tricky. I'm pretty sure that technically it is just called Ravenland, not the Ravenlands, not two words, one word, just Ravenland. But tons of people who write about the game call it all kinds of variations of that. But I'm going to try to stick to the actual name. So I'm going to activate and draw everybody here. Who's that over there? Is that Phil? Get over here, Phil. Did it work? It worked. Drag his sorry ass into the VTT environment. All right. Let me know if your guys are all ready to start, and we'll get going, or if you need a few last little things.
I haven't bought all my stuff, but I don't think it's going to be with my 7 silver pieces. I don't think I'm going to be, influencing anything.
Holy crap! You got 7 jeepers. Rich.
Yeah, not bad. Not bad. Okay. All right. Well, as we open the game, then I think the overall objective here. The 4 of you have been together for some time. The 4 of you for a couple of months, right? Traveling. There's been some money that's changed hands. 2 of you want to get to the Bitter Reach. 2 of you are like, what the fuck? There's this war brewing between the Rust brothers and these orcs. We can line our pockets and just get out of here kind of thing. Maybe there was a survivor from that battle that we talked about that knows now that, getting to our character names, that Conn is alive and well in this area. Right? So let's say that this was to the west and south of here, and you guys have been steadily trying to get to the east and north where you know the port cities are. And I think you've been told that you're either heading for a place called Far Vivend, Vivend, Far Vivend, or Margelda. Far Vivend and Margelda both have ports where you can get a ship. And maybe it's our peddler, maybe it's Stas, who's like, yeah, if we want to go to the Bitter Reach, we have to get to the, to the east, to the coast, to one of the cities that's in Far Vivend or Margelda. Many days travel to the pretty much due east is what you believe. Your spyglass doesn't go quite that far, but you think you have to go east to get to the coast and then go north from there in a ship. So as we join the group, we'll say it's dawn. You have camped overnight in the ruins of an elven city. So I think maybe this was a stop along the way that Askelon knew about. And Askelon wanted to come to this place since you were heading in this direction. Maybe even took you a little bit out of the way to search for knowledge, to see what was, what you could find. And for sake of argument for our story, not much. You've found the ruins well picked over, but it's the sort of thing where I can picture you're in the middle of the woods, right? But there's all of these broken alabaster and ivory towers and monuments and buildings that are hundreds and hundreds of years old, but they've been just smashed down by the elements. Battles have been fought here since the city's fallen. So there's literally, it's a complete ruin. There's not a lot of places where you can go to continue to investigate or look for riches type of thing. You did some investigation, but you can tell these ruins have been cleanly picked over by rogues and raiders from Sean's other group, those bastards, right? They've already been through here. But what it means is you're in the woods. The city's name was Varasa, which I think you can see. I think our elf probably remembers that, the ancient city of Varasa. But let's have just a brief introduction for each character, and then we'll pick roles and all that sort of stuff. So as it's dawn in this wooded ruin, so picture as well, the trees are growing through a lot of the foundations. So it's like this mix of nature and this old elven city together as the sun is rising. And there's also, you'd know that there are both orcs and Rust brothers roaming these woods in this area. So it's not good to linger. Both groups are hunting each other and are basically kind of on the warpath. So it's not a safe place. Let's start with Askelon, because he's alphabetically first. Describe what you look like, what you're doing as you make ready to leave.
He's slight framed like most other elves, but his hair is like so pale it's almost white, and he keeps it like tied back, no man bun, but elf bun, but he keeps it tied back in a ponytail, but it is very long, and I think in the morning, for good or ill, he is almost always like humming a song that he remembered the night before from centuries ago. And I try to remember what I actually. And he's usually making some kind of tea or something for that he insists everybody drink for their health.
Got it. And let me do weather, so I know what your tea's like, whether you need hot tea or not. Scattered clouds, 54 degrees. It's the first of summer, Wayne. So that means it's
Okay.
kind of getting towards the end of the summer, heading for fall. And you guys have some reason to beat feet and get to this port city before the really cold weather sort of comes in. So as the tea is brewing and there's these smells and our elf is sipping from his hot cup, what do we see Conn doing? What's Conn look like?
Conn is obviously a very young man, 5'6", 5'8", 160 pounds. He's got that really lean look that you see a lot of young people have, especially. Yeah, I mean, he's probably someone who is maybe a little bit underfed. Reddish brown hair, blue eyes, freckles, very disheveled. Doesn't keep up his appearance. Probably doesn't feel the need to. Simple brown clothing, kind of to help him blend in with the woods that he's very comfortable traversing. He's checking his short bow as he wakes up, making sure the string on it is still good. Quiver of arrows, knife at his hip. And that's what you would see Conn doing in the morning, I think, as he wakes up, rolling up his fur blanket, which is probably for him a very prized possession. For someone who sleeps rough more often than not, that keeps him warm at night.
Got it. Does he have any connection with Rust or Heem still, or has he rejected that whole faith?
No, I think there's probably a branding. I don't know where it would necessarily be. Maybe on his back, the symbol of Rust. And so I don't think he probably takes his shirt off all that much in public. That's something that he probably keeps covered up.
Is this the sort of thing where when he was a young man, he was held down shirtless with a big boot as the branding iron came down the back of his neck, sizzling flesh?
Yeah, I don't know if it would be on his neck. I see it more on his back, maybe his left.
Like shoulder blades? Yeah.
Yeah, right there. Left shoulder blade, he's been branded.
Got it. All right. Garm, what do we see our friendly neighborhood orc doing?
Yeah, so he rolls out of his sleeping furs and rolls them up, and he's got heavy kind of studded leather armor. I imagine like a full set that goes down kind of almost to his knees. Probably has some bracers tied around bracers around his arms. He's kind of checking all of that, and he's wrapping his sword around his back. It seems to be the first thing he does most days, is make sure he's armored and weaponed no matter where they're at. He's got a mostly shaved head, though he has a very short cropped kind of mohawk. Kind of keeps it pretty clean. Pointed ears. He's got a couple earrings in both ears, and he's got kind of a short, kind of piggish nose. He's got a ring right through his nose. His tusks, he's got 4 short ones that 2 on each side that come up, but they just barely kind of go past his lips, his upper lips. Pretty short tusks. He's got a little bit of a beard, longer in the front. He kindly accepts a cup of tea, moves off to the side of the camp, and makes gulping sounds as he pours it on the ground. And then he brings the empty cup back over and hands it over, and then goes about tidying up the camp, putting the tent away, trying to roust whoever else is still sleeping, and he goes about his normal business.
So, Stas, are you a late sleeper or an early riser? Were you already up, or are you the one that Garm is waking?
I might be the one that Garm is waking.
Okay, so what do we see of Stas this morning as they're all making ready?
It's a little disheveled. It's got a little pencil kind of mustache. And he's probably getting up and brushing himself off, seeing what's around. What's the weather like? What's it look like?
Scattered clouds.
Scattered clouds. It's going to be one of those days. Probably look gather it all in, and I don't know. He's like a slender guy, medium build, average height, maybe a little taller than average. Human, scruffy, half shaved. Not a full beard, just scruffy.
Is he armored?
I do not have armor.
What does his clothing look like?
Mostly leathers, probably like some type of strap. Like he's got a backpack, and I would say a lot of strappy looking stuff. Brown leathers, nothing dark. Belts, straps, even like things around his thighs that don't make any sense. They don't serve any purpose. They just look cool.
Okay. So all right, the four of you, get ready to move out. Pick up your spyglass. What's the direction you're planning on going? I presume you're going to be hiking. Yes.
North or east?
Well, north, northeast, southeast, south. I'll tell you this, with the spyglass, you can kind of see the edge of it. You've got deep woods to the north. You've got pretty deep woods to the northeast. You've got the woods starting to break up to the southeast and the south, which you can see from your spyglass. It's climbing up on top of one of these alabaster stones in the ruins of the Elven city. So as you hop down, put yourself in your travel positions. Tell me where you're going.
Yeah, what you see there, peddler? Which way are we going?
Well, if I had a choice, I'd say maybe to the southwest towards the river. I heard there's a river down there, and the only problem is it may be traveled with others that also find water valuable, but maybe something might be safer than the woods, especially with the Rust brothers and the orcs.
It sounds logical. Maybe we'll stay just to the edge, though.
So that's southwest, guys?
I think could it be this one here? Huh?
We're going to go backwards?
No, that we're going southeast.
Southeast?
Aye.
Oh. Yes.
We have to find this village, don't we, peddler? Why are you taking us back the way we've already come? That makes no sense.
I've gotten misdirected. I apologize. I had too much of a deep sleep last night. It was incredible. I just wanted to make sure we weren't being tracked.
East.
It's there, maybe.
Okay. So I'm going to move your token. I'll get the fog going, but who is doing the
Conn?
That is me.
lead the way?
All right. So it's the survival, and I add Pathfinder to that. Okay, here we go.
Hey.
Boom.
Success.
Yep.
Okay. And who's doing the keep watch?
I would do that, so I would only roll if there's probably something to be kept watch. Is there something to be kept watch?
I don't know if that's true. Let's talk about that for a minute. I remember in the other game, there was a talent that made us look at it that way, right?
Yeah,
Without the talent, is there a reason to not do it?
If there's nothing there.
Yeah,
I think that's what it says, though, right? I'm busting chops, but I think that's what it says. So I could certainly roll.
It kind of depends on what you want to use the roll for. Is the roll to find something that the GM knows is there? Is the roll to find out whether positive or negative results determine something's there?
Well, I think my interpretation was if there's a threat in that hex,
Mhm.
and then
Then
I
you
roll.
to see.
Right. I
Right.
roll no matter what.
Mhm.
And then the result is only whether I see them ahead of time or
Right.
not, or the GM chooses whether I see them or not. And then there's ambush, which is a whole other deal.
Right.
So you want me to roll, Harrigan?
I want you to hold off just for 1 second. So the rest of you are hiking, right? I want to actually read the language here for a second.
Sure.
And I think you're moving it. Just everybody else agree with me. That's just straight forest, right? I think is the case.
The terrain type?
Yep. Where you're moving.
I think so. Yes, that's straight forest, I believe. According to the legend in the lower right.
Scout comes into play when the GM rolls for a random encounter or introduces some kind of threat.
Right.
Da-da-da. Tell you what, I'll do the research on exactly whether you should be rolling regardless or not. I'll just make the roll and then I'll tell you.
Okay.
So now I'm on the table. I need to figure out how to do this. 1 second.
You want me to roll scouting, Harrigan?
Not yet. Let me make the roll on the table,
Gotcha.
on the forest table. And you guys did not see that, is that right?
No, we didn't see it.
We did see it. There's nothing
Okay.
there, guys.
So how do I make that, Sean, so it's not
if you hit
visible?
the drop down where it
This
says
little
public
drop down
roll
box.
at the bottom.
Actually, it's on the encounter and it says display roll to chat. It shouldn't have done it. It shouldn't have done it. I don't have that checked.
No,
Right.
but do you have public roll, or I guess it doesn't?
Private.
I didn't
Private
roll
GM
from there.
roll.
No, I know.
Oh,
I don't know if that matters, does it?
I think that overrides. So I think
Let's find out. If you guys don't mind, I'm going to stick with the no result, and
Yeah,
forgive
sure.
me for our awkward mechanics here.
No,
But I'm
no.
going to roll one more time to see what happens. Did you see that?
There
Yeah.
you
Now
go.
it's question marks.
Okay,
That's
so
question marks.
Wayne is right. That's like a trumping filter. Is that I put it as private GM roll?
I've done that
Okay.
before, and you guys have never said anything, so I can only imagine it worked.
Got it. Okay, so what happens is you move out of Varasa, the city. You come. You can see the break in the terrain there, where the woods start to break up a little bit, but then they thicken again. And correct me if I'm wrong, guys. I think you can only go one wood hex in a quarter. Correct? That sound right?
Travel.
I think it's
Or can you go two? I think it's one.
It depends on the woods.
heavy forest is also a terrain, so there might
And
be a difference between those. I think
That's why I was asking if you were in woods. I think you were in regular woods. In fact, I'm sure you are. The heavy stuff is darker.
really, yes, true.
Yep, you're in regular woods. So you guys are telling me you can go another hex, right?
Yes.
In a quarter, yes.
Got it. So you should be able to see. You hike for half the morning. It's quiet. It remains sort of that partially blue skies overhead. It's only in the 50s today, so it's not. Even though it's the end of summer, it's kind of cool. You can tell that the autumn is in the air, and it looks to you like the woods break up to the northeast of here, and you're back onto more of an open plain. You also detect and can hear a river running to the southeast and maybe even stretching to the south. So there's water you'd have to cross if you went to the southeast, probably if you went to the south. That's not the case if you went to the northeast.
River crossings could be dangerous, tricky, very slippery. You could follow it, though. It's a good way to travel.
If we go
Just
down
about-
near the river, we could fill up our water.
Are you low in water?
I I would say I'm
Yes.
below half. Yes.
Yes.
Since we are there, it'd be easily to go down there and stock up, if you will.
Your GM will intercede here and say, since see the river in the hex, right? If you make a survival roll and you make a group one, if you're successful, you can fill your water at that river without losing time. If you fail it, it's going to take the rest of the quarter to fill your water.
Is that a group survival roll
That'll be a group survival roll.
where we all roll?
We all have to roll.
I don't know if that's how it works.
I don't know.
You look.
Or
gonna
is it
look
we
back
pick one and we
We
aid?
pick one person and that person rolls.
Think so.
I think
it's
you pick
usually the
one
lowest.
person and others can help.
Yes.
Oh, wait, that's
Okay.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, let's
Skip 1 month and forget all rules.
Exactly. One room, forget all rules.
Well,
Well, I think up to
Conn,
3 can help,
probably?
right?
I've got 6, right? I've got the 4 wits, 2 survival, so I'd be rolling base 6. I don't think you wouldn't. Would you allow the talent Pathfinder or Pathfinder to play a role in that, Harrigan, or no?
Yeah, I would. You're trying
Okay.
to navigate quickly through the woods to get to the water source and then kind of back in the direction you want to go in, right?
And then I'm
I'd be
also
okay
going to
with
get
that.
3 bonus dice from these guys.
You are.
Sweetness. All right. If this fails, then these digital dice are cursed.
We did use the R word.
There we go.
Got it.
Sweet
problem at
digital
all.
dice.
So you could all have D12 water.
Yay.
You stop by the stream. And what
Any-
direction
there
are
happen
you?
to be any clay on that in that stream bank?
Clay. What kind of
I
clay are
need
you
it-
looking for?
It's a ingredient of the healing hand spell. So
50-50.
some wet
Roll a D6 and try to get 4 or above, Wayne.
okay. Now I'm getting there.
Mm-hmm. Strange.
I have clay.
Okay. So you have 1 use of clay. However you want to track that.
I made
don't
my
imagine
list.
it weighs very much.
I imagine it's just enough for me to make a little, maybe make a little votive of the. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Is this an ingredient for a spell?
Yeah. So it's for healing hands.
Got
So
it.
I imagine maybe you make like a little, if you're going to heal their arm, you make a little arm, or you're going
Understood.
to.
Okay. Mid-morning, you've got your skins all filled up. The water's rushing. And I think I heard you might follow the river. Is that correct?
Yes.
So you're going to go to
That's
the
what I heard.
northeast. You're going to go here. Is that right?
Yes.
Yes.
If it is, lead the
Yep.
way. Keep
Yes.
watch.
All right. Bloody hell. Why is that not doing that? There we go.
We're having some issues with the dice.
No, I'm just hitting the wrong spot on the VTT thing to pull it up. That's all. But we're all good. Another success.
Okay. So I'll take this and move it. How's the fog working, by the way? Is it clearing off kind of appropriate amounts? I'm trying to give you a little bit of extra vision so you can see a little bit around it.
We come
Looks
out of the
good.
woods.
Yeah.
All right. So as you move free of the woods and the river sort of that you're following bends more to the east, as you can see. So you continue following it, but you can see in the long distance with the spyglass that you think there's a bigger body of water. I'm trying to give you a little more vision there. There's a bigger body of water that the river bends around. It bends back around to the north and appears to dump into what you think is a lake. And you would even say on the far side of that lake, which I'm not going to reveal because it's pretty far away, but there's probably you can see some mountaintops across the lake. So as you can see, you've got the river on 3 sides of you. So you're going to have to find a crossing. It's now noon, right? End of the first quarter. You'll have to find a crossing. I can't quite tell exactly what you can see. Tell me what you can see. Can you see anything interesting?
It looks like there's woods here and woods here, but it looks like it might be clear. And that hex side, whatever that direction.
The elf has it across the river on both of those south and southeast. Pretty dense woods again. No denser than you were in before, but you're back into the woods, and it looks like it continues clear on the other side if you were to pass through to the northeast.
Should we cross the river?
We should at least take a look at it and see what it may consist of. It may be a river that is ankle deep. Who knows?
So you're going to try to look for a crossing?
Yeah, let's look for a crossing.
Okay. Here comes the river. And Sean, I think I read in the book this week, when you get to a river, it's actually counts as like a water crossing. So you have to raft if you don't take the time to look for a ford. So the way we winged it recently is the right way to do it. So you could right now take a quarter day and build a boat or a raft to cross the river, or we can do some skill rolls that will potentially you'll lose time type of thing, right? So let's do this. Half of it's noon, so you're starting Q2, and is it the northeast you're looking for? Is that the first place you're looking?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I'll do this. Yeah. You can split up if you want to, and you can go kind of to a couple of different areas, but you'll have fewer dice to roll if you track, right? We're going to have a roll on this hex side. And if you want to look here or here, you can do that, and you'll be doing it, simultaneously at the same time, but there'll be different people who have to make the roll. And what you'll be representing is that the 4 of you are breaking up and will be separated by up to half a mile, up to a couple miles. So tell me what your approach is as you're surveying with the spyglass.
We should take more time, stay together.
Might as well go to the northeast, see if there's anything there. If not, then we can all together go towards the south, follow it south along that river and see if there's something there. I mean, are we in a hurry to get anywhere right now, or we're not being chased? I figure we could take our time and it's still daylight.
I'm never in a hurry.
You put us in summer, Wayne Harrigan?
I did.
Ah, 3/4 of daylight, baby.
Not yet, is it?
Summer? I think so.
Oh, that's right. That's right. You're at the end of, you'll have another quarter of daylight. That's right.
Yeah.
Yep. For a month. That is correct. So okay. So
let's be patient.
How many of you are trying to look for the crossing? And is anybody keeping watch? Because this is going to take, I'm going to say it's going to take half of the watch of the quarter, excuse me.
I mean, Conn will look for the crossing for sure.
Okay. Conn's looking. Who's helping him?
Or maybe it should be the peddler. I mean, Sean, you got the spyglass, right?
I do. I have the spyglass and I'm pretty decent at scouting.
Yeah, you go for it.
I'll keep watch.
So
All right, I guess the rest of us will help.
Yeah,
for
definitely.
scouting at long range, it gives me a +2, I think. So that'd be a gear bonus, right?
Yep.
I don't know that this is long range, but I guess you could be looking up and down the river. Not that it matters.
Yeah.
So wait a minute, hang on. No one helped you?
Oh, I didn't add anybody for help, but If you take off the spyglass bonus, because
no, leave the spyglass bonus on and
Right.
throw 2 more dice, because I think Conn and the elf were both helping, right? Okay.
Oh,
So you tell me if you're pushing.
I guess.
No luck. No luck initially. You're scanning up and down with your glass. The river's pretty wide, pretty fast moving. You don't see and it looks like it's over your head in all cases.
I will attempt to push, but I say I've got to get to higher ground. It's too many trees where we're standing, and I gotta. Looks like there's something just up there. I could get up on a crest and maybe look down upon. Conn, let's keep an eye out just for anything that might come along. Give me a second.
Okay. Row.
Jesus Christ. That did not roll the 2 other dice that I had from bonus, but I don't know if that matters.
So roll those.
All right.
Roll those. And then I want you to tell me when you get up to higher ground what goes wrong.
Well, he just needs to get. Yeah, he pulled it out.
But he still took 2 damage. So I want to know what goes wrong.
3 damage, I think. Even that second one had a 1.
Did it?
Oh,
yeah.
The second one would have been a skill die, though.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
That's right, because it came from help from
I
teamwork.
Gotcha. All right. Oh, God. So that's 2 damage to wits. Yeah.
To wits.
Okay. Fantastic. Wow. So I guess the hill's too much. I'm like, oh God, it's just like, I don't know. What's the temperature? Is it warm out?
It's 50s.
Maybe I didn't drink as much water in the morning. Maybe a little dehydrated or something where I just don't have enough focus. Disoriented.
Okay. So you're kind of feeling a little dehydrated, a little tired, not as sharp as you might be. But you do spot finally with your spyglass as you get to high ground, a place where you think you can ford. You probably have to go thigh deep in the water, but it's slow. It's a little bit more meandering than the rest of the river. You think you can get across there. So it's taking you about 3 hours to do all this, right? To look. So you've burned about half the quarter doing that.
Tell the party. I think oh my goodness, that hill was steeper than I anticipated. I think I found something, and it's probably not very deep. It's off in the distance. This way. No, that way. It's that way. I'm pretty sure it's that way. Confident. Anybody else really hot? It's really hot out here. I don't know what's going on.
It's a cool breeze today, old man.
I'll take
I'm an adult, man. What are you calling old?
Oh, if you can't even get up that hill.
Well, it's slippery. Let's go, shall we? It's to the river.
I would also say you guys can picture what the glass would look like in this old spyglass, right? The discolored fisheye distortion. Using it for a couple of hours straight, it's probably giving you a bit of a headache, which may represent a little bit of your wits score as well, where you've had this thing that you've been looking through it. And you got a bit of a migraine going on one side of your head. All right, but you guys are going to be now crossing at this ford and going into this hex right here, right? Give me the lead the way.
Okay. Boom.
Strong start.
Yeah.
Yes. He's got lots of dice when he rolls, right? All right. Mm-hmm. So you cross the, you know what? 1 second. I forgot to do something here. 1 second. I'm going to call that.
Is that cabin there?
Okay. There is.
Is it really
There
there?
is. So you, as you cross that river, you can see off to your left, it does indeed dump out into a lake. And the lake looks like it kind of goes around. Let me give you a little bit more view here. Kind of goes around to the north and the east of this point of land where the cabin is, which I'll describe in a second. It looks like it's potentially a pretty big body of water. It's not just like a little, a little widening of the stream. This is a full-on lake that is potentially many miles long type of thing. And you can see that the trees are edging the south and east of this grassy plain that you're walking on. Grass is like knee high or so. And sure enough, right along the coastline of this lake, you see what looks like a fisherman's shack or a cabin that someone lives in. You don't see any activity. You don't see any smoke or anything. You just see the wooden structure that's, when you first spot it's probably, 500 yards away. It's a long distance, a long way away. And you can use the spyglass to kind of look and see that it looks like it's unoccupied. So are you going to approach it? Are you going to continue following the coastline? What's your deal here?
Check and see if there's any leftover equipment. Be good to pick up a fishing line if we're going to be along the coast.
Yeah, there's got to be something there. Might have a stash.
When we see any, I'm sorry, I don't know if you told me this. Do we see any smoke rising from the structure?
No smoke. Doesn't look like it's dilapidated though. It does not look like through the spyglass, you can tell it's not falling in. Timbers aren't falling down. In fact, roll me 1d6, Sean. See how lucky your orientation is here.
I'm trying.
This is what I had in your game at one point.
I know. Like, what am I doing here? 3.
A 3. Okay, so the door is not facing your direction, so you can't tell if the door is open or not. Let's say the door is facing the water, probably. Just a quick note on dice. Do you guys also see on the left-hand menu, where it has the token controls and the ruler and all that sort of stuff? Do you see the other die, the 20-sided die at the bottom? Does that work any better? It's a different add-in.
Oh.
So you could try that one. If the one on the bottom doesn't work for it. What the? Who did that?
That works.
That's Sean rolling 8d100. You got 355. That's pretty shitty.
Well, if you're gonna test it out, you might as well hit the.
So that works better.
Possible.
Yeah, as long as you select the right squares first.
Yeah. Okay, so if you're having trouble with that other roller, you can use that.
Nice.
All right. So basically, it's quiet. So there are birds overhead. It's not like it's an eerie scene or anything, but the cabin is quiet. You see the lake beyond. You see the woods to the east and south. Are you heading for the cabin, or what are you doing? It's now end of Q2, right? Do I have that right? Because you used the first half of Q1 to look for the river crossing. So you've gone another hex. So it's supper time-ish.
This would be a
Sun's
good place
to
kick up the feet and maybe do hunting, get some food. We were defended by 2 waterways.
I agree. Garm draws his sword and just starts walking towards the cabin unless anybody stops him. Like, I'll check it out.
Tenacious one he is.
All right, Garm, are you going alone?
He sets off. If anybody follows him, that's their choice.
Conn will have his back with his bow at the ready. So I would probably be like one range behind him.
Okay, gotcha. Like 30 or 50 feet behind him, or something like that.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll turn to Stas. Are we just going to let the youngins go?
We shall go. Friend, let's go. We don't have to run with them, but
Yeah, I think we stay a respectful distance.
Okay, so you let the other two go on ahead, but the four of you all head for the coast, basically, right, which is where the cabin is sort of perched. Doesn't take too long to cross the distance. Sun's getting lower in the sky, but as Sean mentioned, it's still summertime, so the sun's up. Sunset's not till like 10 o'clock at night type of thing, right? It's up
Harrigan.
a long time. Yeah.
Any fishing boats out on the water?
As you get closer, yes. So both. I think the two people who are closer, which is Garm and Conn. As you get closer, there's a few things that kind of catch your attention. There appear to be. It does look like a fishing shack. So there's a cabin or a shack, but there's also like drying racks for fish out behind the building, and in front of the building towards the water, there's at least a dory or a rowboat of some kind that's kind of pulled up. And you also see what looks like a couple of figures laying in this knee-high grass that you're tromping through. So it looks like a couple of potentially people who are either lying in wait or who are lying and not getting up, if that makes sense. And you're probably within 100 feet at this point. You're pretty close.
That don't look good.
Hey, you alive? What are
yeah,
you doing?
we're coming. Are they talking to us? Or?
No, you see Garm pointing off into the grass to the side
Hey,
with his sword.
There's no movement, and the two behind you close in a little bit because you guys have stopped as you're sort of surveying what's in front of you. So the distance closes a little bit, and your voice, Garm, just carries a little bit. And you can see now across the water. In fact, I'm going to give you this because I think it's probably the limit of what the horizon is here. Give me 1 second.
Garm, you're not moving. What's going on? Who are you talking to? The
There's
grass?
some hills over there. No movement.
Interesting.
some maybe corpses lying in the ground. I'll go check it out.
And Garm just moves over, and his intent is to prod them with the sword if he doesn't see anything else.
Okay. Anybody, Conn, you go with him?
Yeah,
trailing behind you still?
I'm gonna stay. I guess that near range.
Yep. And guys, weapons for the rest of you, what weapons are in your hands or not?
I have my knife.
I held a knife.
I have my axe. I'll grab my axe.
You have your necromancy.
So there's no, well, actually not. There's no sling in this game? That's crazy.
We can put one in.
No, I think there
I
is
think there
one.
is.
There is, yeah.
Under ranged weapons, it is not listed there.
Is it under bullet or sling stone?
Hey, we don't need to stop for this. That's okay.
Yep. We'll put one in for not. I think there is one too somewhere, but
Okay, that's right.
so Garm and Conn behind you, both Conn, bow out or okay. So it looks like there's two figures, and you would suggest as you approach that Garm that they're either dead or unconscious. They are not moving. And it looks like an adult, and then maybe like not a young child, but like a 10 or 12-year-old kid, you would think. Both laying on the ground, unmoving, both dressed in a way that would suggest they are sort of local fisher folk. They're in, homespun clothing and that kind of thing, right?
Can we see this yet, or they're still ahead of us?
You can now see that there are what you think they're still ahead of you, but you think there are bodies on the ground, but you're not getting as good a look at them to tell.
I'm going to move up there.
Okay.
I'm a little more excited because raw materials. I mean, there's bodies that.
Yeah, when they look like they're not moving and whatnot, and they may be dead, that's Garm will kind of pull up kind of a defensive posture and kind of nod towards is it Askelon?
Askelon.
Askelon. Yep, Askelon, and kind of he knows we've been traveling for a little while. This is your neck of the woods, as they say.
Got it. Okay, go ahead, Askelon.
When I get up there, I want to try to figure out what killed him.
So, any objection to the four of you sort of gathering around these two bodies, or to the two of you who are up front? Did you want to do something different before they caught up?
I guess go ahead, Sean.
I was just gonna say, if I know what's going on, I would probably, and they're kind of going to engage, I would kind of hold back a few feet, look around, make sure there's nothing.
Okay.
That would have caused this.
So, all right. So you're trying to get a little bit better sort of lay of the land. Like, is someone watching us right now? Is
right.
there, what's going on? Askelon sounds like you're like you're double timing it now to say, ooh, what's going on over there, right? And
Right.
Phil, you were going to say something. What's Conn doing?
Yeah, staying near range to the two bodies in the grass, but now my attention is focused on the fishing hut. In particular, I guess if we're facing the door, or if there are any windows, just making sure there's no signs of movement coming from in and around that area.
Got it. The hut has windows, but they're shuttered with wooden shutters and they're closed.
Okay.
The door, you'd have to like walk past the bodies and go to the front by the water. So you can't see the door from here.
Okay. As long as I really want my attention on the hut. So that's fine.
Got it. So there's two of you that are more or less standing watch. Garm and Askelon, you probably approach the bodies at about the same time, since the old elf is like as fast as he can, trying to get closer. So you come upon the
legless movement.
That's right. You're just kind of flying along. Exactly. The first body looks like this guy's an adult. He's older. He's probably in his 40s. And he's face down, and you can see blood in the grass beneath him, in this long grass that he's sort of face planted on. Doesn't have a weapon in his hands.
I'll roll him over.
Okay. You take him and roll him over. Again, has these homespun clothes and whatnot. As you do that, his head lolls and his neck yawns. This red, wide gash. Something has opened his throat. It's sort of sticky. There's no longer blood sort of pouring out. That's happened clearly maybe a day or two ago, something like that. So there's already the smell of rot that's going on. But it's a bearded man. His face is ashen. His teeth and mouth are open. He clearly was murdered or killed by having his throat cut.
I want to look just. So I don't want to get too. You could tell me this is too, NCIS, but I want to just look and see if he, look at his hands and look to see if he was trying to defend himself at all before this happened, or this just like someone creep up behind him. And
I think you're going to need to give me a wits roll. Is there a skill that would apply to that as well?
I think healing.
So you're looking for like defensive wounds, that kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking healing might, just because I'm used to seeing this, or I don't know. Survival.
I'm not so sure I'm going to give you healing on that.
Okay.
I think it's straight wits, unless there. Well, let me see the list of skills here briefly.
Scouting, lore, survival, insight.
Insight?
Maybe.
Insight's more like telling somebody's lying or something like that, isn't that?
It is. Is there a way to do the description of the thing right from the sheet? I do not think there is.
I do not think so.
No.
In this case, just go ahead and roll straight wits.
Okay.
If you'd be so kind. So based on the position you found him in and turning him over and then looking at like his knuckles and that sort of thing, you would think this guy was like surprised He didn't see it coming.
Okay. I'll say that to everybody else. And I'll check the other body to see if it's similar.
So crossing to the other body, this one's face up. Throat is also cut. Looks like it's probably the guy's son. There is a resemblance. Maybe a 10-year-old. It's grim. And Conn, you've seen the Rust brothers do this kind of thing before. You don't know that this was them, but it's not unlike them. If the wrong exchange happened, it would not be unlike them to leave bodies in this kind of state.
Has the feel of the Rust brothers. I don't know. I'm surprised. Have they left the fish behind on the drying racks? Do we see?
They have. They have.
Strange that they would have left the food, but this feels all kinds of off. I don't know if we should linger here. We might want to keep moving.
They already killed who was here. Means they've been here and gone. You should be okay. Plus, they're out there. If we move on, might not have a fortification. 2 sides of water.
I don't know if I'd call that shack a fort, but
It's better than a tent. Piece of cloth.
It's stoutly made. It burned nicely.
They should have a boat. What?
Nothing.
it's true. We could always take to the water.
No.
Get on that boat and take it down the river, down across the lake.
Yeah, but you don't want to do it this late in the day.
No. It's true. It's true. Maybe we'll stay here the night. Then maybe you're right, peddler. We got all this fish we could eat.
True.
Askelon, what were you trying to say?
I just meant we should check and see if their boat is still here. If they're fishermen, there should be a boat.
Conn spotted it earlier, and there is one. It's like a 2-person dory type of thing. Rowboat.
Oh, is it out in the water or is it?
It is pulled up on shore. It's beached,
Okay.
but it's 8 feet long, 9 feet long.
Okay.
It's not a giant
Sorry,
boat.
I missed that.
No sail. It's just a rowboat. But I would imagine piled near it that you can see would be netting, lines, all the fishing gear that would go with that, all the tackle and everything.
Excellent.
You have not been to the front of the building yet, and you have not searched the bodies yet. And I got my eye on the clock. We'll wrap up in 10 minutes if people are cool with that.
Let's we'll search the bodies first, and then let's check the rest of the place.
Okay. The man, let me make this roll public. I think I'll try to do it like Sean does.
Oh,
See what we get.
Bunches of Priscilla dice.
He's rolling on the chintzy table, the nice table,
exactly.
and the real expensive table.
So there's a bronze statuette that the man has, let's say it's in his pocket.
Okay.
Let's say it is of a dragon. It's a small little dragon bronze statue. Probably worth some money. Not very well made, 23 copper. So it's probably hammered. It's not like it's been cast or anything. It's more like folded copper, almost like brass or copper sheet origami type of thing. Little dragon wings, that kind of thing. And then on the boy, 8 copper coins in his purse. So maybe they were searched, maybe they weren't, because they weren't carrying anything of tremendous value, but whoever killed them didn't take these things. What's your next move after you search the bodies?
Go check out the front of the building.
Okay.
Garm wants to go do a circle around it.
All right.
Look
So
through
you
the
do
windows.
you do a wary circle. The windows are not look-inable because they're shuttered. So there's no glass. These are not glass windows. These are windows that have big wooden heavy shutters on the outside that pull and latch. But the front door is open. So as you go around to the front of the building, there's a couple of rickety wooden steps that lead up to it. It looks like it's probably a one-room cabin type of thing where there's probably a hearth in there, a couple of beds. As you kind of peek in, it's dark, but it's also light outside, so you can see a little bit in there. It looks like it's pretty clearly the quarters and the building that these two lived in. Nothing's moving.
Garm has his sword out and he'll take a couple steps in, kind of look around. Doesn't sound like he has to, there's no like other rooms like you said, so he just kind of steps in and looks.
That's right. Steps in, and it is indeed, it's a one room sort of place. Inside, it's dim light. You can sort of see through some of these shuttered windows I've described are letting a little bit of light filter through the slats, through the edges, that kind of thing. Couple of beds, a work table, lots of gear. You know, there's boots in here. There's some wood where they were either carving or trying to repair some of their kit type of thing. It looks very much like a utilitarian fisherman's house where they subsistence live. Do you search it carefully? Do you exit? What do you do?
Garm would step across and open some of the windows to allow more light in, and then kind of wave others in to look.
Okay.
Yeah, I like to look around.
Conn will come inside as well.
If you want, I'll stand watch outside if you three want to look.
I'll stay outside.
I'll stay outside with Garm. Oh, sorry, you're not going in, Sean?
You're all
I
outside.
thought you guys were going
no,
inside.
I'm going to go in.
I figured the peddler would want to go in to see what he could loot, but
I'm gonna start setting up my bear trap. See if I grab anything for lunch.
You have a bear
Ciao.
trap.
bear trap.
I heard bears are down by the river in these parts.
Nice. All right. So Askelon, is you the only person who goes inside then?
Garm will stay in if
Okay.
Stas doesn't come in.
So inside, you find some coins and a knapsack.
Nice.
There's other things in here too, you guys can imagine, but nothing that you would consider to be of value that you'd take with you, right? Like, you know, if there's a carving knife, it's not better than the carving knife you have on your belt already, type of thing.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Is there enough fishing gear to gain fishing gear?
I would think absolutely. In fact, I would even say if two of you wanted to grab enough for fishing gear, you could. Fishing line, whatever whatever they call it, fishing line and tackle.
Line and hook.
Line and hook.
Thought the game master would remember those.
I do. Except I lost mine early on, so
You did.
that was like a year and a half ago, man. So
who else
if
has a good survival skill? I know Conn does.
Yeah.
Anybody
All right.
Have a little bit.
Okay. I'll add that. I'll take some
Okay.
fishing line and hooks.
Perfect.
Is there a shovel or an adze or something like that? I'm just thinking about burying the bodies.
certainly there would be a tool of some kind, probably a not very well made shovel.
Okay.
If you're going to bury. So with the, with the sun waning and, at least I won't say that you've turned every floorboard over and looked behind every single thing in the house. You have to spend some more time doing that. You've done your cursory view. You left the bodies outside. What's the next kind of move? I see you're ready to pounce, Wayne, but what's the next sort of large, you're going to make a camp? Are you going to move on? What's the story? Bury the bodies.
I would like to bury the bodies, and I don't see any reason why we shouldn't stay here, because we can make a fire. We won't be seen. The fire won't be seen. Whether we make a fire outside, it will be seen. And we could put somebody on the roof or whatever, look around. But I also want to look for one other thing, where their little kitchen is, and see if there's a little bag or box of salt.
Salt. Throw a 1d6. 5 or 6, you'll have some salt. Nope. Negative. You probably find a little pouch, and you're like, oh, you can smell it, and there's like nothing left. They obviously use the last of it.
Is there just a little pouch, or I can cut a little strip of cloth or something like that I can find?
Picture a fisherman's cabin. For that kind of thing, there's all kinds of stuff in here, right?
Okay.
There's
I just want something like that.
Yep.
And I'm going to
Little
walk
container.
down and see if there is any like dry sand, not clay, but like on that where if there's just a patch of sand instead of clay.
Sure, there's sand.
Okay.
A handful.
All right. I'm going to put a little bit of that sand into little cloth and make a little bindle out of it, and then go ask. Sorry, I don't know everybody's name yet. Garm, if he'd help me bury the bodies.
Of course. I'll go out
Okay,
and
so
start digging.
So as you do that, we're moving into Q3. So we might want to put a pin in it right here, so I don't take you guys too long, and we'll pick up basically at the beginning of Q3 with burial, keeping watch, resting, and all that kind of stuff, which you might want to do. Okay, let me do one thing here. I'm going to drop the. I have another little. Where is it?
Can I ask Garm a question while we're burying
Oh,
the
yeah.
bodies?
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
So Garm, you know that I have the ability to. You've seen me speak to bodies and things like that.
Yeah.
I need some special ingredients to do some of my spells. I wonder if you'll help me out here while we're burying these bodies.
What kind of ingredients?
That little boy's left hand.
Mm.
And I'll lay my little bindle of sand out and say, I was hoping for salt, but this ought to do well to keep it for a while.
You'll all be wishing for Kasha before the night's over.
Yeah. Do you need me to like cut it off? Like, is that what you're asking?
Yeah. I need
Okay.
just need the hand.
All right.
I'll like see, right about there.
It ends up like an inch too high up on the wrist because he just picks up the wrist and just hacks at it with a sword. Nope.
I'll pick
like-
it up.
I would like. Our orc, have you done this kind of thing before? Have you done a lot of butchering of dead bodies before?
I'm gonna say yeah. I think before his clan was taken out, he was pretty ruthless.
I mean, you were part of like a war band, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then no hesitation.
Yep.
Takes a couple of cuts, chunk bones exposed. Another cut, you have to twist and kind of crack the bones a bit, but you get the limb off eventually. Phil.
Okay.
And you
I
have
will
the young man's hand.
I will put it in and kind of wrap it very gingerly in the. I will take real good. I'll take care. I'm not, and before we bury the young, I will say, thank you, young sir. You might help us. One day. You might save a life one day.
There you go. All right. Any last parting shots before we close up? You can see that I put a couple of like
Adding to my checklist.
ghostly markers down where you guys walked, so we can start to track
Oh,
the hexes you've been through. Hopefully that will work. Do you want to do experience? You want to? I know it's midnight for two of you.
No,
we
that's
can also
fine.
just-
Yeah, we can do that. And like the copper coins too. Are we divvying that up? Is someone taking the statue? How did you want to do that?
You guys figured all that out right now. There you go.
So
There is a statue, and there are 26 copper coins and a knapsack.
Yeah.
so we could each take 6. What is that? 6 copper coins. Oh no, it doesn't go any lower than that. Hang on. 2 could take 6 and 2 could take 7. Is that what they call
I'll
it?
take 7.
I'll take
Services
6.
rendered. You
I'll
would
take
be
6.
lost or attacked if I weren't part of this party.
Take 6. That's fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
If
I'll
we
take
go
6
over on
as
the
well.
next one, then somebody else could have the leftover.
Hey, Stas, you want this? And he holds up the statuette, the dragon.
Ooh, what is that? Maybe ask my elven friend if he recognizes this thing as being of importance or of huge value. It looks very valuable. Askelon.
I think it's a votive for the worm. I'm just making that up.
Why would those two strangers be dead outside, but these valuables be found inside? This makes no sense.
No, the little statue was found on the
Okay.
On the man,
on
yeah.
the guy.
Oh, they were on the people.
This was
we
on
found.
the father.
I see.
Yeah, the Rust brothers, they might kill a man for carrying such a thing. They would see it as a false god.
They didn't
And I
destroy
will,
it though.
then I will keep it, just to spite them. If we need to sell it, well, we'll cross that river when we come to it.
You've crossed one river so far successfully.
Yeah.
Conn might pull Garm aside at some point when Askelon's not around and kind of whisper to him, careful what that elf has got you doing. That is unnatural business. Unnatural. I've seen the Rust brothers do similar things. Be very careful what he asks of you. You don't want to fall into the dark hole he might lead you with that weird deathy magic of his.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, it's kind of weird cutting off a kid's hand.
It was very disturbing to see. I mean, he's going to use that for some kind of purpose. Who knows what it'll be. Just watch out. Be careful. That's all I'm saying.
Garm takes like a big deep breath and just blows and
I'm just adding raw materials, little boy's hand to my character sheet.
I love it. I love it.
Run out of inventory slots.
I love it. Yeah.
That's right. It's all hands and
Yeah.
Gotta
toes.
get rid of a nose.
Do you remember how much Wayne made fun of me when I was asking if there's candles or cloth?
Yeah,
and like
I did.
random stuff, and you're like,
Chalk.
oh, wait,
Chalk.
chalk. Yep.
Yeah.
Like, oh wait,
Yeah,
this
now
all
I
has a
have- now
purpose.
I literally have my list. So right.
Yep.
Alrighty. Well, cool. I couldn't even stop you from role playing further when you were counting you're divvying up your coins. So can't be all bad. Was this okay tonight? I know we're a little all over the place with character generation, but is what it is.
Yeah, no, it's great.
No, it looks good, man.
Oh yeah.
I'm excited. It always takes me a while to get a wrap around my character.
Yeah.
That's just not good at doing it immediately.
Is this fog working okay? Because it's different than the stuff that Sean uses.
I think it works fine.
The ravens are raveny.
Mhm.
They are. It's the Ravenlands. So
XP? We doing XP?
oh, that's the
Oh,
XP.
yeah.
That comes up easily.
One
here.
for the session, one for hex crawling.
You're right, Sean. The journal entries don't search very well, do they?
Oh, they don't.
I think it's just going to be the two,
I will take Phil's
Unless-
word for it.
unless Pride or Dark Secrets. I don't know that we'd get anything else here.
No one
This
used the
isn't
pride.
No.
We know that.
Yeah.
And I don't think
Dark
any of the
Secret
Dark Secrets
collects little boys' hands.
I don't have a pride.
Can I write that one in?
I gotta put a pride down.
You don't have a pride yet?
No. Oops.
And quite frankly, we kicked this off pretty quickly. If you guys are looking at your sheet and you're like, well, I want to change the Dark Secret or the Pride or whatever, now that we have a little more meat on the bones in terms of how the group fits together and whatnot, change it if you need to. All right. Well, thank you all for
All right,
playing.
y'all.
Yeah, that was
That was
great.
fun.
Thanks, Harrigan.
Yes. Thank you, Harrigan.
This has been a Litterbox Studio production.